Now sports.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're now making our final approach into Indianapolis, site of the 35th annual NBA All-Star Game.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 35th Annual NBA All-Star Game. Introducing the 1985 Western Conference All-Stars. First, the honorary captain, the most valuable player of the 1972 All-Star Game, a Hall of Fame guard for the LA Lakers, Jerry West. In his first NBA All-Star Game, the 6'6" guard from the Dallas Mavericks, wearing number 20, Rolando Blackman. Making his fourth NBA All-Star Game appearance, 6'7" forward from the Denver Nuggets, number 2, Alex English. First All-Star Game for this man, the 6'10" forward from the Phoenix Suns, number 22, Larry Nance. Also in his first NBA All-Star affair, the 6'6" forward from the Denver Nuggets, number 30, Calvin Natt. Making his second All-Star Game showing, the 6'2" guard from the Los Angeles Clippers, number 10, Norm Nixon. One of two rookies competing today, the 7-foot center of the Houston Rockets, number 34, Hakeem Olajuwon. And a veteran in his 7th NBA Star Game, the 6'11" center forward from the Seattle Supersonics, number 43, Jack Sikma. Now, ladies and gentlemen, starting for the Western Conference All-Stars. At forward in his second NBA All-Star Game in as many years, 7'4" from the Houston Rockets, number 50, Ralph Sampson. Also at forward in his 5th game, 6'5", from the Utah Jazz, number 4, AD, Adrian Dantley. Starting at guard in his 9th NBA All-Star Game from the San Antonio Spurs, number 44, George Gervin. And also at guard in his 5th NBA All-Star Game, 6'9", from the LA Lakers, number 32, Irvin Magic Johnson. And at center, making a record 14th appearance in NBA All-Star competition, number 33, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The coach of the West All-Stars from the LA Lakers, assistant coaches Bill Burtka and Dave Wall, and the head coach, Pat Riley. The trainer from the Phoenix Suns is Joe Prosky. And now the 1985 NBA Eastern Conference All-Stars, the honorary captain, 3-time All-Star Game MVP, and native of Indianapolis, Hall of Fame guard, Oscar Robertson. In his first NBA All-Star appearance, 6'9" forward from the Milwaukee Bucks, number 34, Terry Cummings. Making his 5th appearance, 6'4" guard from the Boston Celtics, number 3, Dennis Johnson. The NBA's leading scorer, averaging over 30 points a game, the 6'7" forward from the New York Knickerbockers, number 30, Bernard King. Making his 4th consecutive All-Star appearance, 6'4" guard from the Milwaukee Bucks, number 4, Sidney Moncrief. It's the 5th straight year in the All-Star game for the 7-foot center from the Boston Celtics, number 00, Robert Parrish. The NBA leader in steals, the 6'5" guard from the New Jersey Nets, number 20, Michael Ray Richardson. In his 3rd consecutive All-Star game, replacing Washington Bullets center forward Jeff Ruland, here is 6'11" center from the Detroit Pistons, number 40, Bill Laimbeer. And now starting for the Eastern Conference All-Stars. At guard, the league leader in assists, 6'1", from the Detroit Pistons, number 11, Isaiah Thomas. Also at guard, in his first NBA All-Star appearance, the 6'6" rookie from the Chicago Bulls, number 23, Michael Jordan. At center, the NBA's top rebounder, 6'10", from the Philadelphia 76ers, number 2, Moses Malone. At forward, in his 9th consecutive NBA All-Star game, 6'7", from the Philadelphia 76ers, number 6, Julius Erving, the doctor. And in forward, in his 6th consecutive NBA All-Star game, homecoming welcome to the 6'9" forward from the world champion Celtics, number 33, Larry Bird. The coach of the East All-Stars from the Boston Celtics, assistants Jimmy Rogers and Chris Ford. The head coach is K.C. Jones, and the trainer from the Indiana Pacers, David Craig. The players in today's 35th annual NBA All-Star game have contributed their earnings from this game to help aid the relief effort in Ethiopia. That money, matched by the National Basketball Association, brings the total contribution to over $100,000. To present the check to Jerry Ballard of Interaction Ethiopia, from the West team, Alex English, and from the East team, Bernard King. Right now, to sing our national anthem from the United States Military Academy, the West Point Cadet Glee Club.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare of bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
A glittering array of All-Stars and a record crowd of 40,000 at the Hoosier Dome. We'll be back for the tip-off. The NBA on
is
CBS.
Sponsored by Miller Beer. Miller made the American way since 1855. U.S. Navy. The Navy, it's not just a job, it's an adventure. Mazda and the full line of sophisticated Mazda products. And by Sheraton Hotels, Inns, and Resorts worldwide. The hospitality people of ITT.
Where I come from, folks stand proud and tall. They'll look you right in the eye. A place where pride is worth a whole lot more than than money can buy. Where people care about their family, where laughter's sincere, where your word is your word, a friend's a friend, and Miller's the beer.
Miller's made the American way, born and brewed in the USA. Just as proud as the people who are drinking it today. Miller's made the American way.
Miller contains no additives, no preservatives. Miller Beer. Purity you can see, quality you can taste.
Miller's made the American way. Miller's
Missile exercise, Caribbean.
10025 now.
Roger, follow your target,
Target's turning starboard outbound, over.
Fire. Most jobs promise you the world.
Birds away.
The Navy delivers. See your recruiter or call this number. Navy, it's not just a job, it's an adventure.
It doesn't take much looking for you to know the Mazda GLC sedan is a lot more than mere transportation. At $66.95, you also know it's an outstanding value. And when you look inside, you see seats you just wouldn't expect in an economy car. You see one of the largest interiors in its class, and you experience a precise shifting 5-speed. But one thing you may not know is just how much fun it is to drive. Mazda GLC sedan. Experience it.
Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn back live at the Hoosier Dome. You know, Tommy, I thought everyone would have smiles on their face getting ready for a nice exhibition. But, you know, Larry Bird said, I have butterflies for the first time in a long time. Other players said the same thing. And I think that this All-Star game has a lot of pride to it, too, as far as winning.
Well, they all come here with one thing in mind, to have fun and to win the game at the same time. And they come out and they really will have butterflies, especially in front of a crowd this size.
And, of course, they all want to show that they belong playing in this game. And, you know, you would think that they all want to just shoot and score and win the MVP. They do want to do that, but I think they want to show they can play team ball also. So there we go. Mervyn Magic Johnson. We're going to tip it up. The officials of the game, Ed Rush and Mike Mathis. Hugh Hollins is the alternate. Mathis will toss it up. Moses Malone and Kareem, the center. Enjoy the 35th All-Star game.
A novel assignment for Larry Bird. He's going to guard Sampson.
Giving up a lot of inches. Michael Jordan is guarding Gervin. Sampson in the corner. You see Isaiah Thomas gambling a little bit. Jordan goes high for the rebound with his familiar tongue hanging out in those shoes, huh? Bird trapped in the corner. Knocked away. Moses. Jordan kicks it in. What a play.
Michael Jordan on the rebound.
Adrian Dantley in a crowd. Sampson tries to keep it alive in the fast break. Jordan. Dantley all over Larry Bird. Thomas for three. Isaiah Thomas, who played his college ball at Indiana, with a three-pointer. They're getting the kinks out right now. And we have our first foul of the ball game.
I think the East has more speed in their lineup right now, plus the real good ball handlers and the third man to get that fast break going. Jordan and Bird and Dr. J can really get up the court.
Jordan commits the foul. Keep in mind that the East has won 5 in a row. That's the longest winning streak in All-Star history. And the West has to get the monkey off their back sometime. Kareem, 37 years old.
Took away the sky hook, made him come back to the middle.
I think the West is really geared for this ball game.
Well, you like the big guys. I like speed.
I like both. Malone is fouled inside. Moses Malone, he's healthy this year. As they've said about Malone, he's got that old-time fire back, and he is leading the league in rebounding.
He's the jackhammer player in the league. I mean, he just keeps pounding at you for the entire ball game, and finally you roll over and say, what's the use? I give up.
Foul on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Moses Malone, who Sixers trail the Boston Celtics.
Play one, release.
What's really great about Moses is that he gets the position in the low post perhaps better than anybody in the NBA.
In the corner, Adrian Dantley. Julius Erving is with him. Ralph Sampson. Well, what a weapon that Sampson can hit from outside with all the other attributes he brings. Isaiah going in the crowd all the way. Gervin, 2-on-1. Sampson the trailer. Beautiful.
Magic knew that the trailer was Ralph Sampson, and he set that up beautifully.
Six to 4, the East is leading. Under 10 minutes remaining. He's played a little bit more than 2. Coming in is Isaiah. Low pass, loses it. And here's another 3-on-2 break. Jordan harassing Magic all the way. And Adrian Dantley on a feed from Magic. Ties it up.
Two best push-up men in the NBA, Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson.
Julius. We saw Mary Lou Retton earlier. Amongst the teenagers, they're the most popular. Sampson hits.
Well, that's a matchup I'm sure that Pat Riley would want to use a lot. 7'4" man against Larry Bird, 6'8".
Everyone's waiting to see whether Pat Riley goes in with his 3 big men, and there's a good chance he will. Jordan working in, loses the ball out of bounds. Michael Jordan, who Larry Bird said, I used to think Moses Malone was the toughest player ever played against. No longer. Michael Jordan has that honor. Just a rookie.
And Sidney Moncrief echoed that same phrase. Toughest man to defend against.
Throw the ball away. The East takes over. Look at those shoes Michael Jordan wears. It's gotten a lot of attention around the league.
Look like they have horns on them.
They're colorful, that's for sure. Isaiah Thomas, the point guard, being defended by his friend. Magic, foul, basket's going to count. Larry Bird is on the board for the first time and will go to the line.
Well, he takes Adrian Dantley into the low post. There's a mismatch for the East in that situation. They're alert to that, and Bird's fall away gets the shot up over Dantley.
Dantley fouled Larry Bird, who will go to the line. Larry Bird now in the huddle late in the game says, give me the ball. Amazing, in 2 games in 1 week, Portland and Detroit, he took the last shot and won the game.
He's the clutch player of, well, I think this decade. Loves that last shot.
Full side, George.
9-8, the East is leading. Kareem is double teamed. Try to get it inside, and here's Michael Jordan. Thomas, pass was a little bit behind him. Good recovery by Isaiah Thomas. Malone. Magic did a good job on us. Julius. He still thinks. Looked like one of his slam dunk moves, and the players on the sideline appreciate it.
I'll tell you, he cleared Sampson out of the way to make that shot.
Here's George Gervin, the Iceman. Gervin, scoring champ for the last 8 years, was the MVP 5 years ago in this game. Thomas smoothly comes back.
He just pushes that ball at you, makes the defense make mistakes.
Magic scoops it in. Talk about end-to-end ball, and here comes Isaiah Thomas with Irving on the wing. Jordan filling the lane. Blocked, and they call the foul.
We're going to see Dr. J coming across the lane, and Sampson trying to make the move, and a nice little arm movement by Dr. J keeps the 7'4" Sampson at bay.
So Michael Jordan is on the line. You know, he said one of the things that he has experienced this weekend was to learn about the players socially. He says, yesterday I beat Moses Malone in a foul shooting contest, and he took me out for dinner last night. He says, till then, the only thing I knew about him was what I saw on the floor.
He's got his respect already, for crying out loud. You see a guy taking a rookie out to dinner. It usually goes the other way.
Bird gets the ball and the basket. So a bonus for the East Stars, and they're up by 4 here with 7:35 remaining in the first period. Isaiah on Magic, and Sampson setting a screen. Malone, look at him coming out. And George Gervin hits. He's the oldest starting guard in the league at 34, the Iceman. Bird, he's got that drop step.
Well, he's got that good up fake, and then he can fall back and still get enough arc on that shot to score from 20 feet.
Bird is 3 for 3 from the field. And he commits his first personal foul. It's been a hot shooting game so far.
What would you expect, Dick?
Well, sometimes, you know, with a lot of the good defensive players in there, It's Sampson coming in from the weak side. It's foul.
What a target swooping in from the opposite side of the court. You can't hardly miss that guy.
We have a timeout, and you've seen a glimpse of the greats. They've got a lot more.
Recently, an astute businessman made a very astute business decision to stay at Sheraton hotels exclusively. Because each time he stayed at Sheraton, he earned 500 to 750 American Airlines Advantage miles. Advantage miles that not only allowed him to fly free, but also allowed him to get away from business entirely. And get American Airlines Advantage miles without ever leaving the ground.
Love the life at Sheraton.
Introducing a computer that can change the way you work. The new Tandy 1000, complete with desk-mate software for easy-to-use word processing, filing, worksheets, scheduling, communications. Brought to you by Tandy, clearly superior for service, support, and software. The Tandy 1000, available at Radio Shack computer centers, and so affordable. Tandy technology, service, and support are clearly superior.
A bedtime story from Gaviscon Antacid. Once there was a guy who loved poker and pizza, and he was really good at eating pizza. But the stakes were high. Heartburn. Fortunately, there was help.
Gaviscon.
Gaviscon gives you fast relief from heartburn and acid indigestion, and it works lying down.
See you and raise you, pepperoni.
Try Gaviscon. It works lying down.
Tonight,
They call it the Jinx Ship.
a pleasure ship becomes a nightmare when Leslie Nielsen and Vicki Lawrence join Angela Lansbury for Murder, She Wrote.
We're back at the Hoosier Dome early in the 35th All-Star game. In the Midwest Division, Denver is leading Houston by 2 games at this point, and Ralph Sampson, who's teamed with Olajuwon, has made Houston a loser into a winner.
Well, I'll tell you, the big question at the start of the season was, why would you want to move a 7'4" big man to a power forward? And we saw the answer in that first game of the season that we did down in Dallas. We're looking at Hakeem on the bench. He has got all the skills, Sampson, of a small forward, a quick forward, and we may even see him play guard today. A 7'4" big guard.
Someday, well, if we have a 6'9" point guard in Magic Johnson, the day isn't far off. I'm sure that we'll have a 7'4" point guard. So here is Ralph Sampson on the line. He has the most blocked shots of any non-center in the NBA this year. He scored 42 points against Golden State in their last game before this All-Star affair.
He made the adjustment very, very quickly on defense, which was a surprise to a lot of people. For a 7'4" man to bend his knees and get out there and play out on the court is really remarkable.
He has 6 of the 16 West points, but the East is leading by 2. Loop it in, alley-oop from Isaiah to the doctor. That got the crowd going. Magic Johnson, who already has 5 assists. He had 22 last year, broke his own record, and it's still West possession.
Baseline. Anybody? Hey, take it out.
How do you stop this? Even 7'4" doesn't happen. Well, we were going to see it, but got lost.
Stanley having a little problem getting it in. Bounce pass. What a pass from Kareem in a crowd. Loses the ball to Michael Jordan. Thomas will pull up at the foul line. That was a good pass by Kareem, even though they didn't get the basket.
I'll tell you, one of the things that's outstanding is how quickly they get the ball into the hands of Isaiah Thomas to start that break.
Against Malone, Abdul-Jabbar feeding inside. Danley has his shot blocked. Good save by Isaiah, but to the wrong man.
And none of the white jerseys came back to help him out.
Under 6 minutes remaining in the first period. Michael Jordan didn't have the shot, passed it off to Malone, who drew the foul.
Here's that alley-oop to Dr. J from up on top. Look at Sampson gets held up on the block, but allows Dr. J to get the shot. But watch the pick that Bird puts on Sampson. Just a half a count. Too late to get in there and stop Dr. J.
Foul is on Kareem and Moses Malone with one more. 5-point lead for the East, trying to make it 6 in a row. He only makes 1. Starters have played all the way in this game. Gervin gets free inside. Good move by Gervin, and he had a lot of white shirts defending him.
Nobody stops him when he's down in that low post unless you're 9 feet tall.
Sampson on the dock now. Bird. And a foul is called. Coming into the ball game is Alex English and Michael Ray Richardson. Good stories for both. Alex English, of course, is the man who started this NBA Ethiopian relationship as Isaiah Thomas goes to the bench. And Michael Ray Richardson is making a tremendous comeback from a drug problem to make the All-Star team. Here's Larry Bird.
Alex English. You know, he reminds me of somebody finding a block of ice in French Lick, Indiana, chipping away, and out pops a prehistoric basketball player. He's got all the skills of some of those guys I played with yesterday.
Because his name is Bird, you say prehistoric.
Oh, no. He was encased in ice, and Red Auerbach chipped him away, and out came this very intelligent player.
He has 9 points. Isaiah Thomas on the bench, 7 to lead the East. Here's Kareem. Sampson tried to stuff it through. Here's Alex English trying to find some blue shirt and can't do it. So the West has been the dominant team in the early going, 25-20. The East leading, 5:16 to go.
I tell you, the East, in addition to getting that fast break started, are playing some pretty decent defense.
We'll see. When I said 7 for 10, what do you expect? I expect good defense, too. Michael Jordan gets his own rebound. Block inside. Good defense, and here is George Gervin to Sampson. Sampson.
He doesn't have to play center to score. 7'4", filling the lane. Third man up. Devastating.
Julius with a whirling dervish move to the basket. So we see the youngster at one end and the 34-year-old veteran at the other. And it's a 5-point game still. The East leading. Magic goes in with a vengeance. Johnson.
What a strong drive that was.
The doctor coming right back. Didn't have control, and Kareem is looking down court. You know, the East is getting back very well defensively. But Gervin beat him to the hoop.
Wow, what a heads-up play by Alex English to pick out the Iceman underneath.
So the lead is cut to 1. Bird, quick shot. Julius. Julius serving. 2-time MVP in this game. Didn't win last year, despite the fact that he scored 34 points. Bird is on Alex English now. Foul. Would have counted if it had gone. And Michael Jordan, I think, fouls. Gervin coming into the ball game. Bernard King, Norm Nixon, and Larry Nance.
Here you're going to see why he is so devastating. The big guy, Ralph Sampson, third man up, fourth man up on the trailer spot. Before anybody can get at him, he can take off from the foul line, and it's 2.
And a timeout with just under 4 minutes remaining.
Some copiers don't adjust for exposure. Some don't adjust for odd-size originals. Some give you copies after they've run out of toner. But the new Sharp SF8200 zoom copier automatically adjusts for exposure, paper size, and it turns off when it's out of toner. The Sharp SF8200 zoom copier. It won't turn your work into garbage. From sharp minds come sharp products.
The essence of climbing. John Bacher.
You gotta know the rock, every inch of it. But what gets you over is a feeling that says you're going all the way.
The essence of shaving.
This is the Gillette Good News disposable razor. Light, easy to handle, twin blades. But what Good News is really all about is a feeling. A feeling you only get from Gillette.
Good News and Good News Pivot from Gillette. The essence of shaving.
Me, you may know my do-wacka-doo, wacka-doo, 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 but my do-wacka-doo don't do me no good when I'm traveling, so I just got myself an American Express card, and that makes me the king of the road.
To apply for the card, look for an application and take one.
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
It's NASCAR's premier event, a grueling test of skill and strategy. The 27th running of the Daytona 500 next Sunday live on CBS Sports.
with a man who may be the most popular man in the Hoosier Dome today. Let's go to Pat O'Brien.
Thank you, Dick. You know, you talk about the great players in the game like Magic Johnson getting an occasional triple-double. I'm sitting with a man who once averaged a triple-double for an entire season. Of course, the hometown favorite here, Oscar Robertson. And Oscar, thanks for joining us. You're the honorary East captain here. How has the All-Star game changed over the years?
I think when you see people who come out to events like this where you're getting bigger and bigger crowds each year, depending on the arena, I think this has been a tremendous change. You see a player like a Ralph Sampson playing outside and dribbling the basketball and shooting. That's a great change in itself.
You enjoy watching these games? You still enjoy the game a lot, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I enjoy it. Basketball is great. I've always said it's the greatest sport in the world.
You were the MVP in your first All-Star game. Who do you like today?
For the MVP, I don't know. We'll see about the third quarter, because after they get heated up a little bit, you know, they'll get the right combination in the game. Then we'll be able to pick one out a little better.
We know you like the East to win. Okay, let's go back to Dick Stockton.
Thank you very much, Pat. And on the line right now is George Gervin. Bernard King, frustrating year for him, Tommy. He leads the NBA over 30 points, and he had 60 in one game, but the Knicks are struggling with all those injuries.
Well, he himself has had some injuries, but without those two big guys in the center spot, Cartwright and Webster, they've been in serious trouble. I thought they were really going to be a contender this year.
But Bernard King's an all-star, and he's here.
In the East lineup, number 4.
A lot of changes now, so we'll bring you up to date on the East. Terry Cummings is in at power forward, and Robert Parrish from the Boston Celtics is in at center. Cummings from the Milwaukee Bucks. So is Sidney Moncrief. Two Milwaukee players in there now. Michael Ray Richardson, Aaron Shot, and Kareem to Nixon, his former teammate now with the Clippers. Nixon to Gervin. Cummings defends well. Good defense by Cummings inside. The East by 1 with 3.5 minutes to go in the first period. Here is Terry Cummings. Kareem again. Quick pass, Nance from Phoenix. To Nixon from the Clippers, guarded by Michael Ray. Alex English. Sidney Moncrief. Boy, he really skies for a guard.
He is the epitome of what a coach would like to have at that big guard position.
And he can play inside with the best of them. And he's fouled.
So physically strong. When he takes underneath the basket position, he's fearless. He's not afraid of anybody.
Jack Sikma, holding up the banner of the Seattle Supersonics, is into the ball game right now. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar goes out. He has 3 personal fouls. Rolando Blackman, who said it's euphoric to be in the All-Star game for the first time. Number 20 from the Dallas Mavericks also is in there. So it's Nixon and Blackman in the backcourt for the West. Sikma and Nance up front with Alex English. Not a big team.
No, but I think both teams will try and fast break regardless. It'll take a little while after sitting on the bench for so long for this group to really mesh together.
Norman Nixon, the point guard. Setting a screen is Nance. Nixon. And there's Norm Nixon. Reunited with Magic Johnson, and we'll get to see whether he plays in the same backcourt with his former teammate.
Boy, did they make a devastating duo pushing that ball up the court to start the fast breaks.
Bernard King. Rebound Nance. King getting back. English dropping down. Here's Rolando Blackman. Born in Panama. And it goes over the top. It'll be East ball. East leading 31-30 with 2:29 remaining in the first period.
You know, Bernard King and Rolando Blackman both are looking forward to this fast-breaking style of play to get turned loose.
Harris is playing up high with Sikma guarding him. Normally it's Sikma that likes to go up on top. Moncrief driving. Sidney Moncrief. Sidney Moncrief, who's been the top defensive player in the league the last 2 years, but a threat offensively as well. Nixon dishing off to Nance. Baseline. Good play.
Nixon takes it right to the basket every single time if possible.
Turnover, and the West will have the ball. Larry Bird on the bench right now next to Bill Laimbeer. Under 2 minutes to go in the first period. The West led one time. That was 8-6 early in the game. They can take the lead right here. Blackman gives the West the lead for the first time in a while, 34-33.
You know, you turn a guy like Rolando Blackman loose. He plays in a structured system down there in Dallas. He was really looking forward to getting out there and just wheeling.
King has a shot blocked by Larry Nance, and here's Norm Nixon. Nance of Phoenix pulls up over Michael Ray Richardson, and Larry Nance, who was the slam dunk champion last year.
And that was the last piece of confidence I think he needed to prove to himself he was going to be a great player.
1:10 remaining, first period. King. Moncrief guarded by Blackman, doubled by Alex English. Bernard King. He's missed 2 close ones. Cummings again. And that's the element that the Milwaukee Bucks have parlayed into a lead in the Central Division of the NBA.
You know, for 2 years down there in San Diego, he got lost because his team wasn't doing well. But everybody in the NBA knew he was a great player, Terry Cummings.
That was a great trade for Milwaukee. Blackman to Nance, good speed, and those two are really teaming up well as you look at Houston's pair of Olajuwon and Sampson on the bench, and we'll probably see them together in the game. 35 seconds to go in the first period. The West leading by 3. Cummings gets his own rebound. No one's moving on the court right now. 3-point attempt. Michael Ray Richardson, Sigma clears with 20 seconds to go.
Now, this ball club for the East is not moving the ball as effectively as that first unit did. No, but you had the real great passes on that first unit.
Well, I'm sure they'll try some more combinations. 7 seconds to go. Blackman, he's had a good first period. 4 seconds to go, and the West is leading by 5, 40-35. And the buzzer sounds, and that is the end of the first period. This is just warm-up time, folks. They're just getting the feel of the Hoosier Dome. The West leads the East after 1 period of play in the All-Star game.
Technically, what sets the new Audi 4000 S Quattro apart from any other sports sedan is permanent all-wheel drive. Power to all the wheels, all the time. Technology aside, what this means is that the new Audi Quattro handles like it's riding on rails. Audi, the art of engineering.
That's a big step, Tom.
I'm still gonna go to college, Dad, but after the Army.
I thought you wanted to be an electrical engineer.
I'll be learning about electronics, and I can qualify for the Army College Fund.
If you qualify, the Army College Fund can help you accumulate over $25,000 for tuition.
So you're gonna be a soldier?
Be all that you can be.
And an engineer.
Find your future.
Be a good one.
In the Army.
Now you too can get an official 1985 NBA All-Star Game program filled with full-color action photos and great articles. You'll read all about the happenings from this spectacular All-Star weekend, as well as 35 years of All-Star history. To order, send $6 to NBA All-Star Program, Post Office Box 1750, Grand Central Station, New York, New York, 10163. Send for your official 1985 NBA All-Star Program today.
Back here at the All-Star game, and you know, Tommy, they've only had one short workout yesterday for this game, and of course there are always going to be turnovers, but I'm amazed at the instincts of these people who are playing with guys they haven't played before.
Well, most of them are all fundamentally sound players, Dick, and they really revel in the fact that you're going to be playing with some additional fundamentally sound players, so they try and make and create their own things for other players.
Tommy, what about the swings in this game back and forth? The East had a lead, and then now the West by 5. What does it indicate, if anything?
It's meaningless, really, Dick. I've seen All-Star games where one team got ahead by 20 points and the other team couldn't come back. Right now, everybody's getting a look-see to the national TV audience, and here at the Hoosier Dome, the coaches feel obligated to play them and show what they can do for at least a little bit. Then they start to play their combinations that they think can win the game.
And they'll go with the hot hand late in the game, won't they?
Or combinations they feel that can match up well against the other team that's going to finish up the game.
So the second period is underway. Sidney Moncrief is guarded by Rolando Blackman. A lot of first-year players here. There's going to be more as the years go on. Moncrief, turnaround. Rebound, Parrish with a fake inside, and Michael Ray Richardson tips it in. Come on, Robert, says K.C. Jones. You should have had that first one. I think K.C.'s thinking of the 6-game Western trip coming up. A little bit.
He wants his players to stay sharp. That's a big one for the Celtics.
Alley-oop Nance. Almost made a tough play on the feed from Nixon. Michael Ray, baseline to Cummings, and they call the foul inside. the East is claiming should be goaltending too.
And it is. He tapped it on the glass.
Moses Malone, Julius Erving. The Philadelphia 76ers trail Boston by a game and a half.
I'll tell you, Terry Cummings is an awesome power forward. He's got all the skills of a small man. He can put the ball on the floor. What makes him remarkable is his dribbling ability. He can get through traffic and still go up strong.
Don Nelson said Terry's the most gifted player he's ever coached, and he has coached some really good ones. Alex English turnaround from the baseline. Here comes the East again, trying to break a 40-40 tie, and Cummings goes to the hoop. A little bit too hard off the glass. Boy, Nance really runs the court well, doesn't he, for big man? Nixon, a foul.
Nance is so fast up there. You know, he's been playing with Phoenix that is not really a fast-breaking ball club, but if he ever got turned loose on a fast-breaking team, he'd be producing sky stuffs like Sampson.
He's picked up the slack in the absence of Walter Davis, who's now returned to action. Michael Ray Richardson commits the personal foul. Sigma doubled by Richardson and Parrish. That's nearly his trademark shot, and good move inside as Nance draws the foul and will go to the line.
I'll tell you, he made a great rebound that time. He was underneath the basket, blocking out, and then stepped to the ball before any of the East players could get to him.
Here's Calvin Nat. He symbolizes perhaps more than anyone that Portland-Denver trade that everyone thought was going to thrust Portland perhaps into a contending position in the West, but instead Denver has the lead in their division. Portland has slumped, and Calvin Nat said to us yesterday, a really free to play. He likes the system of Denver as opposed to what Portland was.
Well, Portland is so structured. Jack Ramsey likes to run his offense that way. It's been very successful. And conversely, in Denver with Doug Moe, who's a fast break guy, turns the game over to the players.
42-40, the West leading. Less than 2 minutes gone by in the second period. King knew he was short with that. Parrish throws up an air ball hook, and it's still East ball.
Bird looking, saying, he fouled my teammate, ref. Give him a break.
Well, they laugh at Parrish when he throws up an air ball.
Well, they laugh when he gets moved off the court.
Inside, Robert will go at it again and make good. Robert Parrish, 5 straight years an All-Star. He started last year when Moses Malone was hurt. Maybe one of the best running centers in the game.
I think that's his forte, but more and more, he's slowing down a little bit and going to that low post type of action.
Nixon in the crowd. Moncrief and Cummings, 2 of the Milwaukee Bucks went up together. And it's Moncrief with Richardson. Good feed and traveling. Might have gotten the ball a little too late. Second chance points, and the East is doing it with their offensive rebounding, but coming in for the West, the guy who could change a lot of that is Hakeem Olajuwon, one of the 4 rookie centers to appear in an All-Star game.
Well, that's where the East seems to have its advantage, Dick, on the offensive board, both with all their teams and in their divisions. When they go out west, the West teams have trouble out rebounding them offensively.
On Sigma's miss, with Michael Ray. Over Nixon. Blackman. Here comes the West, trying to break the tie at 42. Rolando Blackman. Here's Olajuwon. There's a little move by Hakeem Olajuwon and Moses Malone, who's very good friends with Olajuwon, and Moses taught Olajuwon to be hungry for the rebounds and the block shots. He's been a hungry rookie. Parrish. Coming out of the crowd, Nat to Nixon. 3-on-3. Norm Nixon.
Did I tell you he'll take it as far in as he possibly can? He creates such devastation on that defense. Just pushes it straight at him.
The West leads 46-42. We have 8:57 remaining in the first half, and Casey Jones and his staff call a timeout, and we'll be back to the Hoosier Dome in a moment.
We weren't planning to go to Midas on our honeymoon, but we didn't have much choice. The brakes on my old Camaro were making a terrible noise, so we pulled into Midas and showed them my guarantee.
And you're Pat Fitzsimmons?
I am. Used to be. Midas fixed the brakes right away, and because of the guarantee, the brake shoes were free. I guess something always goes wrong on your wedding day. It's a good thing we could go to Midas. Trust the Midas touch.
Where I come from, people never quit. till the game is done.
There's still a place where there's nothing wrong with winning, where beer is beer and the brand is Miller.
Miller's made the American way, born and brewed in the USA, just as proud as the people who are drinking it today.
Miller beer, purity you can see, quality you can taste.
Miller's made the American way.
Teleflora presents Valentine's Day.
Excuse me.
Hi.
Hi.
Haven't seen you in a while.
Got something special for Valentine's Day?
Sure. Look at this. The Enchanted Heart. It's fabulous to keep things in. And she'll love the flowers that come with it. Got a big night planned?
Maybe. Could you be ready around 8?
8. 8's fine.
The Enchanted Heart Bouquet. Call or visit any Teleflora florist.
See Dwayne Pearl, Washington, and 6th-ranked Syracuse host LSU, or Louisville against number 4 SMU in college basketball next Saturday on CBS Sports.
With the West leading by 4 right now, let's go to Pat O'Brien. Pat?
Thank you, Dick. You know, all week everybody was talking about the All-Star game, and what they really wanted to see was that great matchup between Johnny Kerr and Tommy Heinsohn at the Legends game yesterday, and you held Tommy to about 3 points, I think.
Well, I'll tell you what, Slick Leonard called me. He says, John, I need a defensive job. They got Heinsohn in there. 23 seconds, I worked like crazy, putting the pressure on him. He was stumbling, falling out of bounds, and he had to throw it in bounds to save it. It went over his head and in for 3 points. I worked really great on a defensive end, and this guy gets all the ovations.
Last year he was pulling your pants down. This year he pulled your shirt up. What about that move?
About this guy? My pants last year, my shirt, you know. Buy me a drink, Tom.
Right away, I'm the guy that will buy him a drink. We'll see that at the half. I'll talk to you later. Back to you, Dick.
For the East All-Stars. Tommy, you have, you know, Johnny doesn't hear you.
I'm going to buy him a drink. I mean, he did let me take that hook shot on the side.
In the ball game now, Bill Laimbeer at center from the Detroit Pistons. Larry Bird is back, and his teammate Dennis Johnson is also in there. So it's Dennis Johnson and Sidney Moncrief in the backcourt. Bird and Bernard King at forward, and Bill Laimbeer. Laimbeer was a late replacement last year for Malone because of an injury. Same thing for Jeff Ruland this year, and he starts out hot.
Well, the West has the bigger team in there right now with Olajuwon and Sigma.
Calvin Nat guarded by Moncrief. Same cast for the West, and Calvin Nat hits the shot.
He's my favorite lunch pail player. I mean, he comes hard to play all the time.
Here's Bird over Sigma. Moncrief crashes into his own man, out of bounds. It'll be West ball. It's been a well-played game so far. Very few turnovers for an all-star game. Only 4 for each team.
Unusual when two teams are streaking up the court the way they've been.
Here's Magic Johnson. Back in the ball game, replacing Norm Nixon. That misses. And the East can't save it. Here it comes, Isaiah Thomas back in the ball game, so we're seeing more of the starters coming back in with 8:01 remaining in the half. Out goes Moncrief. He played well when he was in there. He scored 4 points. Shouldn't say only for an all-star game. That's pretty good for him.
But he also did some great rebounding work for the East team.
Sigma. Laimbeer quickly out to Bernard King. Thomas is trailing. King will take it.
That's what Bernard King was looking for in an all-star game. Get out on the wing in the open court. He loves it.
Inside, a little overplay and a foul on Bernard King. 7:40 remaining. Bernard King scored 60 points in a losing effort against New Jersey this year. As Ralph Sampson comes back in for the West, he said he'd rather score 10 points and win the game. Sigma goes out for Sampson, and Moses Malone will come in for Bernard King. So a big team in there now for the East, Tom.
Yes, and I would say right now the Twin Towers of the Houston Rockets, we're going to see what they can effectively do playing together in this all-star game.
Olajuwon and Sampson for the West. We have Malone and Laimbeer for the East. And Rolando Blackman makes the basket. He has 6 points. Blackman is on Dennis Johnson. Thomas left alone for a moment in the corner. Pushing inside, it'll be against the East, and the foul will be against Moses Malone. Pat Riley, the coach of the West, he's 0-2 coming in. He would love to not only win his first all-star game, but break the 5-game East winning streak.
Well, they get pretty serious about winning these games, these coaches. You know, it appears on their all-time record, lost 3 All-Star games.
Olajuwon wasn't quite ready for that pass by Nat. Out of bounds. It's still West ball. Of course, no one wants to have a losing record anywhere, like you say.
I'll tell you, even in the old-timers game yesterday, the coaches wanted to win that one.
George Gervin, who is the leading scorer for the West with 10 points, will be coming back in the ball game. Larry Bird has 9, Julius Erving 8. They're the scoring leaders for the East.
You ever listen to a Tums? Did a Rolaids ever tickle your nose? Now, what about Alka-Seltzer? Listen. Now the nose. Those bubbles are telling you Alka-Seltzer is unleashing itself with lightning speed to attack your acid indigestion or heartburn with a headache. And that's something Tums or Rolaids can't do. So next time your body's telling you something, let it know you're listening. Send Alka-Seltzer to the rescue and feel it making you feel better. Fast.
Marianne Sanford makes over 20 critical checks on seatbelt systems in GM cars. She's only one of over 1,800 GM people who make more than 6,000 safety inspections on over 6 million GM cars worldwide to build safer cars, because it's important to you and to her.
Okay, guys, buckle up.
Nobody sweats the details like GM.
I'm starved. What are you having?
How about the turkey croquettes?
How about a personal computer?
Who are you? You're not my regular waiter.
I'm Ralph. I like surprising people.
Nice-looking machine, sharp graphics.
Runs all the top software.
Who makes it?
Oh, NCR. It's the NCR PC4. Surprised?
Well, no, NCR's been in computers for years.
I'd like to order.
I know. Turkey croquettes.
So, the NCR personal computer. Surprised?
Yes.
A better computer. It's exactly what you'd expect from NCR.
See Carl Lewis and Mary Decker in world-class competition, plus a World Figure Skating Championships preview, John Madden's journeys, and more, next on CBS Sports Sunday.
We have an exciting and quality-filled CBS Sports Sunday coming up after the game. Mary Slaney Decker attempts to become the first woman to break 4 minutes in the 1,500 meters in the Olympic Invitational Track and Field Championships. Carl Lewis in the 55-meter dash, and an examination on why he's having problems lining up endorsements after winning 4 gold medals. And also Katarina Witt. She was the Olympic champion. And you're going to get the reaction. She wins the European Figure Skating Championship, and Tiffany Chin reacts, and you're going to see Scott Hamilton as well in there as we get you all revved up for the World Figure Skating Championships. And John Madden's journeys. Craig Stadler, that's his kind of golfer, an unkempt kind of guy. He likes the Craig Stadler.
A walrus in the rough, huh?
All coming up on a exciting CBS Sports Sunday, coming up right after the game as the snow continues to fall in Indianapolis. Inside, we have a record crowd, 43,146 for this All-Star game. Sampson, Magic Johnson. Gervin with 1 second on the clock. The basket counts. He just got it in under the wire, and George Gervin has 12 points in the game. Bird is guarded by Calvin Nat. Magic Johnson on Isaiah Thomas. Lambier over Sampson. The timing of Malone just wasn't there. He was positioned, though.
I think somebody nudged him from behind, Dick.
Turnover. Magic said, me? Oh, okay.
Nice guy. Here's Moses going for the rebound. Long outside shot. And I think nobody touched him, huh? Well, I guess I was wrong.
West by 6 with 6:13 remaining in the first half. Forget Pat O'Brien coming up at the half. What a feed. 2 Detroit Pistons. Isaiah Thomas perfect to Bill Lambier.
They've run that play hundreds and hundreds of times. And that's what coaches hope to do in these games, is put 2 players together from the same team.
Wide open. Sampson. Dennis Johnson the rebound. He's having maybe his best year. Thomas to Bird. What a pass by Isaiah Thomas. They're going to say no shot. It was offensive interference, but Isaiah Thomas has made 2 sensational passes the last 2 times down.
Well, I'll tell you, when he comes up on the break, he loves the fast break and use those people. He reads the defense so well.
The East is hanging in close, considering that the West is out shooting him by a bundle.
Well, they're controlling that offensive board for great stretches.
Less than 5.5 to play in the first half. Magic misses. Sampson, West controlling. Akeem double teamed, and will go to the line. Isaiah, what a pass to Bill Lamby early.
Well, when you put in combinations from the same team, you hope you develop the teamwork that goes along with those two players, just like right here, pick and roll play to the wide open Bill Lambier. The Pistons fans have seen lots of that.
Lambier committed the foul on Akeem Olajuwon.
You know why the East is rebounding the way they're doing is that they're so sure that they're going to have trouble on the boards. 5 of the white jerseys are on the boards.
West by 5. They're going to call a loose ball foul. Dennis Johnson shooting, and it's on Calvin Nat as he elbowed Larry Bird out of the way. Into the ball game now is Adrian Dantley, who started the game at forward for the West.
Back in the West lineup, number 4.
And going out is Calvin Nat. Dantley led the NBA in scoring 2 of the last 5 years. Malone, good block inside by Olajuwon, and Sampson both were in there. 3-point attempt. There he is, Isaiah Thomas. He was held scoreless last year at halftime and then came on with a rush to win the MVP award.
Did he ever? Pushed that ball up, dished it off.
In the crowd, Olajuwon goes up.
Boy, that defense of the East is back inside, protecting against those bigger players on rebounds and scoring it from the low post.
Julius Erving, who has won 2 most valuable player awards as Lambier goes out. He won in 77 and in 83. And here is Akeem Olajuwon again, and you know, this is a guy that's still learning the game of basketball.
I think he's going to be the premier center of the 80s because he's got great quickness, particularly on the offensive board. There's nobody I've seen in a long time get to the offensive board as fast as he does.
Malone wins the fight. 4:40 remaining in the first half. The West by 2, 53-51. Larry Bird from the corner. Michael Jordan watching Larry Bird in action, and Bird has 11. He's the leading scorer for the East. Durbin with 12 is top man for the West. Magic inside, and if you don't think they're hitting inside, just listen to their
some grunts in there. Right. That offensive rebound basket by Magic is one of the reasons why he's a great player. Not too many guards do that.
Foot block by George Gervin.
Here's Magic taking it inside. Well, watch him go back and get the ball. That's an added dimension to his game that you very rarely see. Hanging tough. He's maybe the best offensive rebounding guard in the NBA.
Larry Bird loses the ball. Turnover to Magic Johnson. He has Olajuwon and Gervin, but takes it all the way. Magic Johnson.
They were so fearful of him passing the ball off, they opened up the middle for the drive.
Dennis Johnson driving all the way, misses, and Sampson outlet to Magic. Filling the lane, and Isaiah Thomas took the ball out of Gervin's hands with a terrific defensive play. Dennis Johnson feeds the doctor, who draws the foul, and we saw a superb defensive effort at one end by Isaiah Thomas.
If you're going to have a great play by Isaiah Thomas up one end, steals the ball, was sitting there just waiting for Magic. That's from playing in all that summer league basketball that they do. Knew exactly what he was going to do.
Magic Johnson. And now Michael Jordan comes back in the ball game for the East Stars. He is the leader on the Chicago Bulls in just about every category, including, ready for this, block shots. That's for a guard.
I'll tell you, he is such an important player to that ball club. Not so much what he does on the court, but the life and the pride in the game and his own ability and his dedication to the game is kind of catchy with other players. That's what I think he's provided more than anything else to the Bulls.
Julius Erving with the free throws. 57-55 the West. So the team of Sampson and Olajuwon from Houston in there. The Twin Towers of Houston. Magic Johnson looking for Olajuwon. Feeding Gervin. Good move. George Gervin. He has 14 points, 6 for 7 from the field.
Boy, do players love to play with a guy like Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah. Out of bounds, East ball.
They know if they're open, they're going to get it.
Larry Bird will inbound, and so we have the starting 5 for the East out there right now. Looking inside for Malone, but they're doing a good job. Here's another three-point attempt. Isaiah Thomas made it the last time, not this time, and here is Magic Johnson. Isaiah was right there, and they collide with each other. You know, those two have been 1-2 in assists all year. Magic had the lead early in the league, but lately, on a tear, has been Isaiah Thomas, who has the lead in assists. Foul is on Isaiah Thomas, 59-55, and a timeout here at the Hoosier Dome.
Selected by Nationwide Man.
You begin with raw steel. Shape it with fire, muscle, and sweat. Polish it to razor-sharp perfection. We're looking for a few good men with a medal to be Marines.
There's a name recognized the world over.
That's 2 for Hong Kong.
It's used more than any other.
Right, 9 a.m.
For travel, entertaining, shopping, and cash.
Curtains at 8.
8, right. No, 9. Sorry, my wife. Never mind.
Need a hand?
I could use 3. No, that's 4 nights.
Be decisive.
Visa is welcome around the world.
I married you, didn't I?
It's all you need.
Here's to good. Why don't you and Carol come on over? Oh, it's too cold out. We got a great fire going, 4 steaks, and loaded brow. We're on our way.
The beer we'll pour must say something more somehow.
So what took you so long?
All right. Tonight, let it be Lone Brown.
The West has had the lead most of this game. They have it right now, but right now, let's check in with our Pat O'Brien.
Thank you very much, Dick. Coming up at the half, we'll have more to look at All-Star Weekend here in Indianapolis, including a look at yesterday's Slam Dunk Championship and the legends of the game. We'll see Tommy Heinsohn's three-pointer. And then we have something special for you, something you seldom see. We'll go live into the locker rooms at the Hoosier Dome with some halftime strategy there with the coaches and players. And we'll show you how one Atlanta player, Mike Glenn, is using his off-the-court skills to teach deaf kids the game of basketball. And that is a special all-star story. All that and more coming up at the half. Back to you, Dick.
Thank you very much, Pat. We talked about Michael Jordan and the impact he has. He has become, without a doubt, the #1 drawing card in the NBA on the road. Now, look, Boston and Philadelphia, you would expect them to draw well on the road. But look at Chicago. They're basically a 500 team, and they are 5th right now. And you saw Houston 4th. So, you know, the young players are having an impact. It's Michael Jordan. Kevin Lockery says he's turned this team around. He says usually by the All-Star break, our playoff hopes don't exist anymore, and that's not the case this year because of Jordan.
Well, they're still trying to find the big guy out there in Chicago. Should they get that happening in that center position, they're really going to be a threat.
Magic Johnson has 10 points and 6 assists so far in this first half with under 3 minutes remaining. 61-55, the West leading. Julius Erving misses, and Magic Johnson the rebound. The West talked to them before the game. They want to win the game and end the streak, and Magic Johnson shows that graphically. He has 12 points in the ball game, and it's 63-55, biggest lead of the ball game for the West. Malone, and the follow-up miss again by Jordan. Larry Bird. Malone, 5 chances I believe they had.
Slam dunk supreme, Dick.
And the capacity crowd, when I say capacity, they expected 40,000, and they have exceeded that. The all-time attendance record for an all-star game witnessing here at the Hoosier Dome. Open as Nance. Here he comes. Elijah one. Hakeem, the dream from Lagos, Nigeria.
I'll tell you, these referees are letting them bang underneath that basket. Moses gave the best brunt I've heard in at least 3 all-star games.
Michael Jordan. Bird. Good defense by Elijah one, I think, inside on Larry. Here's a 3-on-2 for the West. Dantley didn't get the basket. Magic Johnson dished it off, and here comes the doctor in the open court to Bird. Boy, to
matters. That Dr. Lufter playing that middle position on a fast break, proving that he can pass the ball as well as Isaiah and Magic.
That got the crowd turned up a notch. Isaiah Thomas got a hand on it, but Larry Nance is there. Nance is playing a solid game off the bench. He has 10 points, one of 3 in double figures for the Western All-Stars. The East also has 3 in doubles. Isaiah Thomas comes back. He has 12 in the ball game. Bird leads with 13. Under a minute to play in the first half. Pat O'Brien coming up at the half. The West leading by 6. Gervin, no basket, and a foul before the shot.
Here comes the doctor proving mano-mano. I can pass as well as Isaiah and Magic, and Bird with the swooping left-hand reverse layup brings his native Indianians to their feet.
Easy for you to say.
I like that.
Here's George Gervin. He is right now scoring the lowest since his rookie year when he played with the Virginia Squires in the ABA.
And I think the reason that he scored so low right now is that they're in a more structured offensive atmosphere, and they're giving the ball to a lot of the ball players, trying to get them to score more.
The West comes up with it. Larry Bird saves it, and it's 68-61. The West trying to break a 5-game losing streak. Jordan is fouled by Gervin before the shot. No basket. The only players in the game with 3 personal fouls are Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the West and Michael Jordan on the East.
First of the final 2 minutes on the West.
West by 7. Jordan is hit. He tried to penetrate against the likes of Olajuwon and will go to the line.
There aren't too many players coming into the NBA, Dick, that have no weaknesses. This is one of them. I mean, he does everything. He can pass the ball, he can dribble, he can shoot out, he can shoot in, takes it strong to the hoop. And that outside shot and the great first step he has to right or left just is devastating right now to anybody that tries to defend against him.
22nd timeout. The foul was on Larry Nance, has been called by the West. And Pat Riley gathers his team along with Casey Jones for the East. 22nd timeout, 32 seconds to go. The influx of the new players in the league, you know, not to slight Doctor and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because they are really bronzed up there, but it is so good to see players who you know are going to be compared to the Dr. J's and the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars who we see there on the bench as their years go on.
Well, you're going to have Olajuwon, I think, is going to be one of the premier centers in the 80s. No question, Sampson has revolutionized the game already, proving that a 7'4" guy can play forward. That experiment will continue in the 80s. This man at the foul line is showing that basketball and all the good skills, fundamental skills, need not be dead. That you should learn all those skills to be a great player.
30 seconds to go, and Isaiah Thomas, Magic is back. It's 2-on-1, and Magic played the pass to Michael Jordan, and Isaiah Thomas took it himself.
A little outfoxing that time by Isaiah. Magic thought he was going to pass. Isaiah said, no, I'll take the 2.
Lesser of 2 evils? I don't know. The East has it, trailing by 3 with 16 seconds to go, and will try to cut it to 1. Or if they try a 3-point play, maybe tie it up at halftime. We're going to go in the locker rooms at halftime. That's going to be something to see. Coming up, Michael Jordan with 4 seconds to go. Thomas going for 3 points. Hits it! What a way to end the first half. The third 3-point shot for Isaiah Thomas ties up the game.
You said it, Dick. I'll tell you, they are really moving. Jordan trying to put his one-on-one move, draws attention from Magic. It gets way outside. Isaiah will position himself up for that 3-pointer. And before Magic can get back, it's through the net.
Well, the East had trailed. They ran off 7 in a row, and we have a dead tie, 68 at halftime. And we'll be back with Pat O'Brien at the half in just a moment.
Hey, you know what my job is? Well, this is my office, a movie set. Yeah, I'm a stuntman, and I depend on my equipment.
That's why Terry Leonard likes a tough Ford Ranger like this one. With a V6 engine, no small V6, tops for power. Tough twin I-beam suspension. A strong ladder-type frame, tough double-box walls, and the widest cab in its class.
That's terrific, Terry.
It's easy for my Ford Ranger and me.
Now, get 8.8% financing on new Ford Rangers. Take delivery by March 31st.
Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch Milk Chocolate. That's creamy, blending Krispies. Ooh, so dreamy. Gotta have it. It's so scrumptious. Love that chocolate when it crunches. Crunches. Woo! Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
Everywhere, more information is going out over the phone lines. More people talking, more computer data.
I could get you on standby.
How will our phone systems ever keep up? With ITT's System 12, an extraordinary digital telephone system. It handles both voice and data reliably and economically. ITT System 12 will meet even tomorrow's needs.
A man and a half, a man and a half.
I take him and a half.
So! Make every document the same size.
Charts in color.
Pictures in blue. Headings in black. And collated.
Fire.
This job is for a multiple-choice copier, the Canon NP155. Its zoom system makes a full range of enlargements and reductions, up to 15 copies a minute in black, brown, or blue, and can collate.
Done. Do I know how to pick a value?
Yes.
Yes. Canon's NP155 gives you more for less. For information, call toll-free.
The largest crowd in NBA history, 43,146 people, have come out of the cold to watch the East and West play in the All-Star game, and it's all tied up at the half. Hi again, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien, and once again, welcome to At the Half. And our theme today is a predictable one, All-Star Weekend. We'll show you yesterday's awesome display of slam dunk competition and a look at the guys who huffed and puffed their way through the Legends game, including Tommy Heinsohn. And we'll also see why Michael Glenn of the Atlanta Hawks is an all-star in his own right. But first, the fans were treated to some spectacular action and reintroduced to some spectacular former players yesterday, and it all began with the Legends game. The big news yesterday was that the city of Indianapolis turned Market Square into Reunion Arena for the first annual Legends Classic. Although they are gray, slightly hobbled, and sometimes in need of a helping hand, the stars of yesterday proved that although their bodies have slowed, their minds have not forgotten. They still possess the skills, and yes, they still have the desire. For most of the game, it was a desire for fun as well, friendship and practical jokes. But down the stretch, the competitive spirit took over behind Earl the Pearl and Tommy Heinsohn. The East outlasted the West 63-53. Congratulations. How did it feel out there today?
Well, it felt pretty good. When you retire, you leave the game, you leave the players and the guys that you've been living with for so long, and then you come back and, you know, an event like this, and it, you know, it's all a real warm feeling for us.
After the old-timers game, the youngsters and one elder statesman took to the floor and proved that actions do indeed speak louder than words. The biggest surprise was the early success of hometown favorite Terrence Stansbury, who with the help of Team Stansbury advanced into the semis. The team liked that one. Not to be outdunked, the Irving clan lent support to its family doctor, who responded with this. And last year's champion Larry Nance chose the artistic route, but that only painted him in a corner as he failed to advance to the finals. That honor was reserved for Mr. J, who of course had his own personal coach. Do that. And Dominique Wilkins, who took the early lead with this. And although Michael came back and displayed great stuff, he was no match for the Soaring Hawk, who went for perfect scores and flew away with the dunk title. You were going for 50 every time, weren't you, this time?
Yeah, I was trying to go for 50 every time. And then, like I said, the guys who didn't make it, like Orlando and Griffith, really was telling me different things to do. They said, Nick, you got to go strong. And that's what I did, and they really helped me a lot.
What's it like being the human highlight film?
It's fun.
It was fun, all right. He picked up 12 grand for his efforts, but he told me he would have given away that money to be on the East team. Now, something you rarely get to see at competitions like this, we're going to take you live into the East locker room where K.C. Jones is
here,
talking to his players at halftime strategy.
Larry come down and set the pick. And then we got the pick down here, and this guy comes out. Say we hit here, and then we go away. Now we can push in there or drop it in, but this guy's going away, and this man's coming up. But we want to, if we can get in here and get stopped, then we got to drop the ball off here or here. But the longer we keep it, the more they pile up in the middle there, then we got nothing going. But the more we move that ball to the open guy, and the better shot we're going to get, or the wide open shot, or drive to the basket. Anybody got any thoughts on this? Jimmy?
An attentive East team listening to Professor Jones there in the East locker room. Let's take you now over to the West locker room where Pat Riley is doing something similar.
Every shot, second half, we're going into the winning situation now. In this area right here, we can just sort of contain and control the second shots. And again, it's a fundamental that you go right back to. It's blocking out, it's getting a good position, and it's making an attack on the board. They got 16 points off of their seconds. The fact that they're crashing so hard, we've got 2 or 3 guys, 3 or 4 guys going to the offensive boards. We contain this.
All right, let's take you back over to the East now.
Somebody's got to move in here to pick you up. And we drop it off. This guy goes, we can drop it here. And the same thing on that side, but that's a good play. So we drop it here, and then we don't have it, then drop it back down inside and go straight to the basket. We walk to the foul line, we'll get the play off. Whether it's Isaiah or Dennis or Jordan. But when things get, when we're running out of stuff and it gets ugly, then let's see if we can go to something to get us to the foul line, or at least get us a good shot out of it. Isaiah, you should have been up top of the, I want you up here, so the three-pointer would have been more spectacular. That's a short shot right there.
Both coaches with their coats off, and the teams looking on attentively. It looks like they're serious about this. The score is all tied up 68-68. We'll be back with lots more as All-Star Weekend rolls on from the Hoosier Dome after a word from your local station.
It is truly one of auto racing's premier events. Next Sunday, NASCAR's top drivers will face a grueling test of driving skill at speeds approaching 200 miles per hour. CBS Sports will present live flag-to-flag coverage of the 27th Daytona 500. Then 2 familiar opponents who last season played yet another NBA Classic will meet again. The world champion Boston Celtics visit the Los Angeles Lakers next Sunday on CBS Sports. This is CBS.
Different. How many times have you heard that word? But how many products really are different? How many beers? Well, over the next few months, I'll be telling you about one that is different. I'll be telling you about a brewer who takes a lot of very unusual steps to give you a beer with a difference worth tasting. A beer that's a little less heavy, never bitter, with all the spirit of a great beer. The story starts about 2 hills over. The only place they make a beer that good, at the Coors Brewery.
What's the biggest difference between the Volkswagen Vanagon and those new minivans? Well, in the Vanagon, 7 people can take a vacation. And, of course, in a minivan, 7 people can take a vacation. They just can't take very much else. Vanagon, it's not a car, it's a Volkswagen.
The crew of the space shuttle has every benefit modern travel affords, with one possible exception. They don't have a frequent traveler bonus program like Eastern's. If they did, this crew would have earned 178 free trips to London, 52 to Rome, 30 to Egypt, and 2 to Walt Disney World. So if you fly a lot on business, join Eastern's frequent traveler bonus program and land in the most exciting places.
Surprises for Louise, Monday at 4:30 on the Jeffersons.
Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls and his East team, they're leaving the locker room, getting a last-minute drink of water there, ready to go back out on the court to begin the second half, and we'll join them when they do. Coming up after today's All-Star game is another edition of Sports Sunday. And for a report, let's go to Pat Summerall in New York City.
Thank you, Pat. Back in New York, I'm Pat Summerall with a look ahead at our lineup for CBS Sports Sunday, which follows after the second half of the NBA All-Star game. You'll see an exceptional field headlined by the likes of such record breakers as Carl Lewis, Mary Decker, now Mary Slaney, and Eamon Coughlin. They'll all compete at the U.S. Olympic Invitational Track and Field Meet. Also, we'll have a special preview of the upcoming World Figure Skating Championships. And on John Madden's journeys, John visits with one of golf's unique characters, the Walrus, Craig Stadler. All of that and more coming up on CBS Sports Sunday. See you after the game, Pat.
That's Sports Sunday. Thank you, Pat Summerall. That's Sports Sunday immediately following the NBA All-Star game. Now, our final story on All-Star Weekend here is a very special one about a very special player who spends much of his time working with kids who have a handicap that doesn't allow them to enjoy the game of basketball the way you and I do. He is Mike Glenn, the best friend a lot of deaf kids have ever had. This is how most of us hear a basketball game. And this is how the deaf see it. The unmistakable sounds of basketball. You know, sometimes we tend to take those sounds for granted, but there is a large group of young people who have never heard those sounds and never will. They are deaf. But thanks to a veteran NBA player with roots here in the Georgia countryside, they are now getting closer to the game, almost close enough to hear it.
I want to see your elbows in, not out, like this. Stan, I want you to keep your elbows in.
They call him the Stinger. Mike Glenn makes his living stinging jump shots for Atlanta, but this is what he lives for, helping deaf athletes.
When I was growing up, my father coached at Georgia School for the Deaf. So I went to practice with him, and the deaf kids adopted me. They just taught me their sign language. They taught me to play basketball. They treated me as though I were a deaf kid. So the contact and the sign language and the basketball all came together naturally.
Whenever we'd have practices in basketball, he would want to do whatever they were doing. If I had them running the figure eight or just lining up shooting, Mike would want to get in line too.
You got to fake that, the defensive player. Show him the basketball.
In addition to conducting 2 summer camps, he spends time here in Cave Spring, Georgia, teaching those who would not have had the opportunity to learn the game.
That was good, but he still didn't show the basketball. No, not you, him.
They learn how to shoot, learn how to screen, learn how to press in defense, then play basketball a lot for fun.
Willie Brown has fun, too. He is deaf. He is Glenn's star student and now a promising freshman at Hofstra. Mike Glenn was Willie's ticket to erase the barriers to be part of something special.
Hofstra University recognized Willie Brown for the talent that he has, not the limitations that other people would put on him by saying, well, he's a deaf kid.
Oftentimes our ears are deaf to the positive side of professional athletes, but Mike Glenn gives us reason to sit up and listen.
Excellent. A lot of times you'll have people say, well, he's a deaf guy. He can't play. He can't do this. And we'll look for things that they can't do rather than the things that they can do. Okay, a little higher, a little higher.
What's the message in all this? Translation, always try your best and you can do what you want in life. They are getting ready to play the second half here at the Hoosier Dome, and Dick Stockton and Tommy Heinsohn are getting ready to go back to work as well. I'm Pat O'Brien. Thank you for joining us at the half. Enjoy the second half here on CBS.
I'm out here moving earth by 7 a.m. A few hours of this, and boy, I'm good and ready for a Milky Way bar. Take a break, get my mind on what's ahead. I love it.
You get the goodness of a quarter cup of milk in every bar. There's milk, natural cane and corn sugars, and thick, thick chocolate in a Milky Way bar.
Boy, that Milky Way's great. Life doesn't stop when the workday's done.
Milky Way day helps you work, rest, and play.
Take a letter, Susie, make the coffee, Laura. Better have this package in L.A. tomorrow. Call Emery, and it's as good as there. Emery's right on time. Here's your package, Mr. Harris. Emery flies worldwide. Arrived at 10 a.m. from Paris. From the biggest to the smallest, it's as good as there. Just call us.
Hi, Emery.
It's as good as there.
You're back, huh?
Yeah, I'm back.
I see you got some fries to go with your Big Mac. Don't mention the fries. But Lester, these are not just fries. These are McDonald's world-famous French fries. Hot, crispy, delicious, golden brown.
I know what they are, and they're all mine.
Hey, Les, old pal. Old pal, nothing. You want some fries? You know where the county is. Hey, what are you doing? You can't get away with this. My foot, watch my foot.
I know karate.
Hi-ya!
In the Midwest, there's a city which is racing toward the future. Indianapolis, a city with a plan. Striking restorations, exciting new construction, a rapidly developing downtown area. This year's host of the NBA All-Star Game. Indianapolis, a city with the imagination to dream about the future and the leadership to make it happen.
We're all tied at halftime before a record crowd of 43,000 plus at the Hoosier Dome, 68-68. Before we talk about maybe the team situation, what's impressed you the most so far, Tom?
Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed this first half, mainly because I'm a devotee of fast break basketball, and we're seeing four outstanding pushmen for both teams. Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Richardson, and Nixon creating fast break opportunities. And we're also seeing some great offensive rebounding by the East to keep them in the ballgame.
All right, now to talk about that, let's take a look at the statistics. Now, the West is really out shooting the East, but that's deceiving because the point you just made, the second chance points, shows the East with a big edge. They have out-rebounded them by 10 off the offensive boards. And this is an example of it, Tom.
Well, they have to contain the size of the West by everybody banging on the boards as much as they can. But look at them carve out some room as Moses comes over the top of everybody for the cram.
And there's Isaiah Thomas. He has a bruised thigh, we understand, his left thigh, and he may or may not play. Knowing Isaiah Thomas, he'll try to get in there. When we left you, he hit that three-point shot with 1 second to go. He was 3 for 4 from that range and tied the ball game up. He is a hot shooter. And, you know, we haven't had a back-to-back winner in Most Valuable Player Awards since 1958, and Isaiah Thomas has that opportunity right now. He is the leading scorer in the ball game. He has 17 points to lead the East. George Gervin's 15 leads the West.
I'll tell you, Isaiah has put the spark into the East team by creating the pace and also that inside fast break game, creating offensive rebound opportunities for the East.
I asked Kareem going into this game, does it have any special meaning? He says, I want to contribute, but he says a lot of it is circumstance. He only played 9 minutes, had 3 personal fouls, and has 4 points and 3 rebounds. But maybe the second half will turn it around for him. We're tied and underway in the third period. Hope you're enjoying the 35th All-Star Game on CBS Sports. Michael Jordan from the backcourt with Isaiah Thomas, Julius Erving and Larry Bird the forwards, and Moses Malone the center for the East, and White.
22 Barry Nance for the West.
Bird into Malone.
Oh, man.
Malone, I think, wanted a foul.
Gave it 4 grunts that time.
Rolando Blockman and Norm Nixon start out at guard for the West. English and Nance the forwards with Kareem, who has it now. 2-man game with Nixon and Abdul-Jabbar. Norm Nixon's shot, you heard it, short. Here's Isaiah. Not a good pass to Malone. He couldn't reach it.
Well, Malone really wasn't expecting it. He should have been, because Isaiah is perfectly willing to dish it off.
He should know that from Maurice Cheeks, right? He's got one on his own team that does the things that Isaiah can do.
Interesting strategy here, Dick, starting Nixon and Blackman in the backcourt. And when the East comes back with their second line backcourt, Pat Riley will be coming back with his first line.
Magic Johnson and George Gervin. Here's the doctor, runs into a crowd and loses it. So here is a 3-on-1. Nixon to Nance. See you later.
You know, Cedric Maxwell of the Celtics says about Larry Nance when he plays against him. I heard one time he was up there so high saying, Nance the tower, Nance the tower.
Maxwell has a lot of good descriptions. You know, he calls Dantley a little tank moving around on stubby little legs. So I like his description. Here's Julius Erving hopping from outside, something that Julius has done more this year with the addition of Charles Barkley to the Sixer cast.
Well, Barkley is a low post player supreme, and Dr. J really has to hit that outside shot to be effective. He's doing it.
Blackman. Off the top. And we have a foul the other way. Loose ball foul against Larry Nance. You know, we were talking about Alex English and the role he played in that Ethiopian relationship between the NBA, which we'll tell you about when we can, and how that all got started. Here's a feed in, knocked away by Blackman. Julius Erving. The rebound, Nance to English. Nixon bounces it in to Blackman in a crowd, and it is still West ball.
But great defense that time by the East to get back and protect against that fast break.
And we have a timeout. We're still tied at 70.
Flight operations, Hawaiian Islands.
155 to go, Bird. And the green stripe runner. Bring up 155 on number 2 elevator. Cloud top to 28,000 feet. Alpha Hotel, your wind is down the deck at 28 knots. Launch aircraft. And clear, and clear.
Most jobs promise you the world. The Navy delivers. See your recruiter or call this number. Navy, it's not just a job, it's an adventure.
Whoa, whoa.
Looks like we got company, Sergeant. Hold your fire, man. Hold your fire.
Ain't no braver man alive.
Tastes great. Less filling. Tastes great. Less filling. Back up the sexual. Mount
No one knows how long the argument has raged, but one thing is for certain. Light beer from Miller will go down in history as the world's greatest light beer.
Tonight, the case that chilled the heart of a nation. The city held hostage by a faceless killer and struggling to save its children. The Atlanta child murders. Parental discretion is advised.
Both coaches here in Indianapolis will be on opposite ends next Sunday on CBS as the Celtics and the Lakers. The championship matchup of a year ago gets revived at the Forum, 3:45 Eastern. The Celtics won the first meeting. The Lakers blew a lead, and I think the Lakers would like to get back in as they beat Philadelphia at home. That's outside. They're looking live at downtown Indianapolis, where the snow has stopped. You saw it before.
I'll tell you, I'm glad it stopped, because the way it was snowing, this might have ended up as the biggest three-day party in Indiana history. Can you imagine all these people having to stay in the Hoosier Dome for 3 days?
Can't go back to the hotel even, huh? Kareem doesn't get the roll. Malone the rebound. And a foul. No basket, says Ed Rush.
How does Larry Bird score baskets from behind the backboard?
John Havlicek played at Ohio State. Indiana was their big rivals. Bobby Knight is a good friend of John Havlicek. He is the coach of the Hoosiers right now. Larry Nance has 3 personal fouls. We're tied at 70. 3-point attempt missed by Larry Bird, but there's Malone at the opposite end. Tell you, the referees, the officials are letting them play inside, and no one's complaining. Blackman to Nance. And Nance is having a fine game. 14 points coming off the bench.
Take runway 4, Larry. Runway 4.
Dixon is on Thomas. We're going to see what happens with that guard matchup you talked about later on. Michael Jordan is short with it. Here's Nance. English is on the right. Nixon to Alex English. Loses the ball to Jordan. Jordan with that tongue hanging out. It's become his trademark. Along with those shoes.
22.
Here's a nice sweep move to Larry Nance from Rolando Blackman. But the white jerseys are getting back there fast, taking some good passes to create fast break opportunities now for the West.
Malone. And Nance, by the way, picked up that 4th foul. 4 on 2. Nance is going to try and get what he can do before he has to sit down. He has 16 points, and he is the high scorer for the West. He is 7 for 9 from the field. Larry Nance.
I think they're going to make him circle the runway for a while.
Loose ball foul.
Here's great position by Moses Malone. Gets where he wants to get to, but watch Kareem get right back into it as Moses has to bring the ball back to him.
3 fouls on Moses Malone. 8 minutes, 15 seconds remaining, 3rd period. The West has broken a tie with 4 points, leading 74-70. Kareem. There's the first sky hook. Malone.
Oh, it was very cute defense by Malone that time. He kneed him just as he was taking the shot.
Larry Bird, wide open. Larry Bird. He was the MVP 3 years ago in this All-Star game, and it's a 2-point lead for the West.
West slowing it down a little bit.
Norm Nixon. I think Nixon still feels a little bit of hurt from the trade from the Lakers to the Clippers.
I think he does too, but he seems to establish himself very well with the Clippers. He's back in Los Angeles. City seems to like.
Here comes the break for the West, and behind of Nance, Julius Erving forced the turnover. Jordan looked Irving, and he fed Larry Bird, who goes to the basket. Michael Jordan looked left all the way and got it to Bird, and you know the respect that Bird already has for Michael Jordan. Ralph Sampson comes back in the ball game for the West. Kareem has 4 personal fouls. He stays in there. So Kareem and Sampson are in there up front, along with English. And there's Dennis Johnson coming in for Michael Jordan, who goes out. Michael Jordan has 5 points in the game.
You know, this guy that's going to step to the free throw line, Larry Bird, reminds me of Bobby Fischer, you know, the chess player. He plays chess and everybody else plays checkers. You know, they use the same board, but they go about it a little bit different. There's always 3 moves ahead of somebody else that's playing the game, Larry Bird.
Loves to play. The amazing thing is he had butterflies before this game, and he said it's been a long time since he had that feeling. Of course, all that is gone once they get into the action. The West by 3. Kareem versus Malone. Sky hook. Abdul-Jabbar. 14 NBA All-Star games. Dennis Johnson can't save that one. You know, Debbie Allen, who is one of the stars of fame, who's married to Norm Nixon.
Norm played for a Duquesne, where they really went and developed a fast break style of play. So he came into the league knowing how to run the fast break.
6 points, 6 assists for Norm Nixon today. Rolando Blackman. Irving and Bird both went up for it. And here's the doctor getting past English. Nixon comes up. Here's Isaiah Thomas. Bird back to Julius. Everyone expected Larry Bird to shoot. And a loose ball foul has been called. And Julius Erving is saying that was a good pass back. I should have made the basket.
Bird should have taken the shot, too.
Sometimes they rather pass than shoot.
The East All-Stars, the West.
In 1982, Toyota introduced a standard bed truck for $59.98, and it was a winner. Now, 3 years later, Toyota introduces a new standard bed truck with a more efficient engine, with more horsepower, and a warranty that's twice as long as 1982 for $59.98. Who says you have to pay a high price for progress?
Isn't this a beautiful Valentine? It's the FTD flower basket bouquet. It's so beautiful, everybody's going to want to send it at the same time, right on Valentine's Day. Don't be left out. Be sure your sweetheart gets one of these flower basket bouquets by sending it so it arrives at least a day or 2 early. Call or visit your FTD florist today. Your sweetheart will be glad you did. Oh, and happy Valentine's Day from FTD.
Come on, America. Drive over to the new Firestone Supreme Steel Belted Radio.
America's driving to Firestone.
Supreme, our best total performance radio, meets or exceeds Detroit carmaker standards in 14 performance areas. Backed by our best total protection plan, free lifetime tire rotation, wheel rebalancing, and our 1-year free replacement limited warranty. Now, buy 3, get 1 Supreme free. The new Firestone Supreme.
Firestone.
Last season, their 7-game duel for the title was yet another NBA Classic. The world champion Boston Celtics beat the Los Angeles Lakers next Sunday on CBS Sports.
We have 6:46 remaining in the third period, and there he is, Paul Silas, who played for you in Boston.
Boy, I always liked popcorn. Look at that, huh? As a man, we played in the old-timers game up in Boston, and I want to tell you, I thought I was in better shape than Paul. Ooh. That's
you know,
tough stuff. I know he's going to get mad at me, but made a couple of power moves inside, though, in that game, Red Auerbach's weekend.
Sidney Moncrief is in the ball game. Malone gets the rebound. The West stays with their same group. Kareem and Sampson, along with Alex English. Sidney Moncrief into Malone. That extra pass, Dennis Johnson. Dennis Johnson, I think that other than Will Chamberlain, Dennis Johnson may be the first player to make the All-Star team playing with his third ball club. He made it with Seattle, Phoenix, and now Boston. Wilt did, I know, with 3 clubs as Kareem hits the sky hook. Look at the smile. He has given that smile on Riley's face many times. 80-75, the West is in front. The West has a 5-game losing streak in this series, and of course they have other matters of pride concerning East and West too. There's Bird on the other side.
Boy, does he carve out territory for himself, Larry Bird. How he rebounds beyond me. He's always in there and knows just where to go.
18 points for Larry Bird. He is the game's high scorer right now. Terry Cummings gets off the East bench. Irving on Sampson. Foul, basket good. And Pat Riley has the East team up 82-77, and Bernard King and Terry Cummings both return, and the doctor and Larry Bird go out.
That's his third. Lineup for the East All-Stars, number 30, Bernard.
Cummings is the type of guy, though, that right at this juncture of the ball game could really turn that offensive board into a real advantage for the East Ball Club. He did fairly well in the first half, but I think he had the first game jitters.
Bill Lane Beers, you saw also in a new front line for the East. How would you like to take Julius Irving and Larry Bird out of the game and come in with Bernard King and Terry Cummings? 5:15 remaining in the third period. The West leads 83-77.
And that's that defense I was mentioning about Sampson getting out there with those quick feet on the overplay on Cummings, boy. You don't see a 7'4" guy do that ever.
Commits the foul. Sampson does his second, and Jack Sikma, who's having a fine rebounding game. He's, I guess, been one of the premier defensive rebounders for several years now, as Kareem, who has 4 personal fouls, remains on the West bench. This is Dick Stockton along with Tom Heinsohn. We have 5:06 remaining in the third period of the 35th All-Star game. The West leading the East 83-78. Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn, and a record crowd, 43,146 at the Hoosier Dome.
Dennis Johnson made the 2, you know, and he's become a very improved player. He'd been an all-star player before, but he's turned into a complete player now. That outside shooting is really working for him.
Trying to double on Ralph. Sampson of the Rockets. Nixon. Here's Norm Nixon. He has 8 points in the ball game now.
You'll have to give some time or some place when you're going to double down, and Nixon's the wrong guy to leave out there on top all alone.
4:40 remaining. Terry Cummings hits. So Terry Cummings, who played his college ball at DePaul and is just about back home playing in Milwaukee for Don Nelson. And red hot is Norm Nixon, who has 10 points in the ball game. It's been a while. He's been in the All-Star game before. Bernard King, Cummings. They doubled Moncrief. King. Here's Dennis Johnson. And Sampson runs into Sigma, gets the rebound. 6-point lead for the West, winding down to 4 minutes to go in the third. And Blackman gets past Lanebeer beautifully.
I tell you, Blackman's making a very impressive first appearance in an all-star game. He's going to be the heir apparent to the big guard role in the Western Division. Going to take over from the Iceman, I think, in a year or two.
Matches the biggest lead in the ball game. The West by 8 and a foul, no basket. Coming into the ball game is George Gervin, who has 15 points. Alex English will go out, and Calvin Natt is coming in now with 3:45 to go.
Here's Blackman coming up the court on the front end of a fast break, and a little move against the bigger Lanebeer, who can't kind of stay with him and allows Blackman to cram it.
So here's Bernard King, who was an all-star in the uniform of the Golden State Warriors back in '82. He has missed 16 games with groin and ankle injuries this year, still leading the league in scoring at 31 points.
He's the quickest shooter in the NBA. And bigger people just can't react quick enough to give him a tough time when he shoots the ball.
Timeout called, 89 to 82. The West leading the East. West trying to break that losing streak.
Right over its rivals.
Working hard doesn't have to mean perspiration odor. Give it all you've got. Right Guard Spray can help keep you smelling good for up to 24 hours. That's protection.
You work hard, you need Right Guard.
With all their space-age technology, most microwave ovens still cook too many things unevenly. Undercooked here, overcooked there. A problem you won't have with the Sharp Carousel 2 convection microwave, thanks to Sharp's turntable design that cooks food evenly at every turn. After all, what's the point of owning a microwave if it can't even do the little things right? Sharp microwaves from Sharp Minds come Sharp products.
Wherever you go in America, there's one source of starting power the weather's found tough to beat, the Sears Die-Hard. From the original Die-Hard battery to the newest, most powerful Die-Hard ever made for your car, in Credicell, Die-Hard is still the replacement battery more Americans have confidence in than any other. Think of it as a recommendation from a few million of your neighbors.
There's more for your life at Sears.
It's NASCAR's premier event, a grueling test of skill and strategy. The 27th running of the Daytona 500 next Sunday, live on CBS Sports.
Right now, let's go to Pat O'Brien, who's with Mary Lou Retton, who we saw perform on our pregame show earlier. Pat?
All right, thank you, Dick. We are indeed with America's sweetheart, Mary Lou Retton. Thank you for joining us here. This is the largest crowd you ever performed in front of. Did you enjoy it?
Oh, it was great. Seeing this many people, it's really neat to get in front of all these people.
You ever get tired? You know, you're everywhere all the time, aren't you?
I don't, you know, but a lot of people have asked me that. Do you get tired of all the different things? I don't, you know, because I'm learning. I'm meeting so many people, talking about different things, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Now, we know you're in training now in Houston. Coming up March 2nd and 3rd on CBS, as a matter of fact, here in Indianapolis is the American Cup. Talk to me about that competition.
Well, the McDonald's American Cup will probably be, well, is the first international competition for me since the Olympics. And I'll be going back as defending champion, so I'm kind of really hyped for it.
Good luck to you. Let's go back to Dick Stockton.
Thank you very much, Pat and Mary Lou. The American Cup Gymnastics at Market Square Arena, not at the Hoosier Dome. Tremendous event, live coverage. First weekend of March. Loose ball. Here's Norm Nixon behind the back to Sampson, who went up without the ball. You know, Mary Lou Retton's dad is Ronnie Retton, who played with Jerry West at West Virginia. Gervin on the loose exchange, and it's an 9-point lead. Biggest lead of the ball game for the West All-Star.
Well, the East has in there two of the slower guards at that position, while the West has Nixon in there who can really push it up.
Sigma blocks it. Sampson showing what he could do in the open court. And Calvin, no basket. They have a foul the other way. A loose ball.
And Sampson had that basket surrounded, Dick. One hand on the right side, the other hand on the left side.
Third on Sampson. We were tied 68 at halftime, and the West has had the lead the entire second half, and the biggest right now. Why?
Well, I think they're holding their own on the boards right now, plus the fact that they developed some inside power with Jabbar. And I think Isaiah Thomas, with that little bump on his leg, sitting on the bench, was a key in creating pace for the East, and him not being in there full speed has hurt him.
He has played some. He started the second half, but has been on the bench most of the time. He had 17 at the half, and that's what he has now. And it was Thomas's three-pointer with 1 second to go that tied up the game in the second period. There's Isaiah Thomas, last year's MVP.
They have a big game coming up on Tuesday night against Chicago, so he doesn't want to take any chances.
Detroit trailing by 3 games to Milwaukee in the Central. Sampson zigged when he should have zagged. There is Jerry West, who is the honorary captain for the Western Conference. He and Oscar Robertson. Boy, everyone compared the two when they played about the same era.
I'm back out. I'm out.
Cummings out to Dennis Johnson. Gervin. Gervin's playing a terrific game. He scored 15 points in the first half. And Norm Nixon is also having a fine game. He's fouled.
When you get the ball into the hands of a player like Nixon, Isaiah, or Magic, they create offense by pushing it up the court, making the defense react, and then they have the ability to find the open men. You don't need plays when you got players like these.
There was a guy outstretched, and you know the backup guards have done well, Blackman and Nixon, but Magic Johnson's going to come in, and the point you made earlier is that they're going to have fresh starting guards like Magic coming in against the backups of the East.
We're going to see if Isaiah comes back into this ball game. That could be a telling blow for the East.
Moncrief, top of the key over Gervin. Norm Nixon. Good all-around game for Norman. Less than 2.5 to play in the third. 9-point lead for the West. Ralph Sampson goes in, and now the lead is up to 11. 94-83. The West Stars have opened it up.
Pat Riley may be smiling after this game, Dick.
He has been a superb coach. King. There's what you talked about before, the quick shot.
Boy, when he gets the ball, that ball is released so fast, you usually don't even have a chance to blink.
Dennis Johnson on Nixon. Nixon gets a pick from Sampson, but loses the ball out of bounds. And coming in the ball game is Irvin Magic Johnson. Magic has 12 points in the ball game and 7 assists. So Magic will try to ignite the East. You talk about number 30, Bernard King.
When the ball gets inside to Bernard, a little fake here, gets Nat out of the play, but look, before anybody else can get near him, the shot is up and away.
Thursday night, the division leading Milwaukee Buckets.
Bernard King, after the last All-Star game, went on the most momentous tear of scoring sprees that I'd seen in the NBA in a long, long time, probably since Elgin Baylor years ago. I mean, he almost single-handedly catapulted those Knicks last year into the playoffs and made them a strong team, and he may have to do exactly that down the stretch this year.
He scored 50 in 2 straight games, and you know, yesterday he says, you know, we still driving for the playoffs. You know, you look at New York, 18-33, but players don't give up.
Not a type of Bernard King, I'll tell you.
1:42 remaining in the third period.
Foul.
Cummings misses outside. King over the top, called for the loose ball foul.
Well, the East is not getting the inside game. They have Lambier in there now, who's more of an outside center than anything else, and Cummings is having his trouble developing an inside game with the likes of Sampson guarding him.
We have not seen Robert Parrish much. Moses Malone, of course, started this period, but we haven't seen Parrish in the game.
Well, he might be just what the doctor ordered here in this situation, but he's at the tail end of the bench.
Michael Ray Richardson comes back in. He has sparked a New Jersey Nets surge. The Nets have won 4 in a row. Of course, we saw them against Philadelphia last week, and if they stay healthy, you know, they are indeed a sleeping giant.
I tell you, he's become the leader of the Nets, Michael Ray, for exactly the same reasons that Magic and Isaiah are the leaders of their teams.
10-point lead. The East biggest margin was 6 early, 22-16. The West been the dominant team in this game. We still have at least 1 more period to go as Cummings on a feed gets inside.
Well, that's what they need more of, the East, inside play.
know, this East-West rivalry making its presence felt, too, when you get to the championship series and the so-called strong physical teams of the East against the finesse teams of the West. Gervin.
Well, right now, the East is so concerned, Dick, of stopping those big people that they're allowing people to come right up the gut.
Under a minute to play. Here's Terry Cummings. King is there. Got it up in a hurry once again, and with 44 seconds to play, 97-89, 8-point lead, which really is meaningless in a game like this with all of the talent. Gervin, Cummings. Here comes the East. Michael Ray Richardson has Moncrief and King. And King is called for a charging foul.
Well, they got right at Bernard King that time, knowing full well that he likes to run and take it strong to the hoop. I watched two blue jerseys position up perfectly, particularly Sigma.
4 fouls on Bernard King. We have 26 seconds to go in the third period, 17 on the shot clock. The East has the strong bully teams, and the West may be soft, and so anytime you gain a measure.
But the bullies aren't in there right now for the East. It's the Rabbits, Dick.
But overall,
you're right.
6 seconds to go. 97-91. The lead is cut to 6. It was 11. Here's Magic Johnson going in. And we have a loose ball foul as the buzzer sounds, ending the period. That's the end of the third quarter. With the score, the West 97, the East 91. We now pause for a word from your local station.
This is CBS.
Dinerex versus Selsun Blue.
This side here, I've got a tingling sensation. On this side, there's not much any sensation.
Look what you use.
Dinerex.
Each shampoo has one medicine for dandruff. Only Dinerex adds extra anti-itch medicine.
Selsun Blue's lost a customer. I'm a Dinerex man.
Bill Evans can't breathe. Would you try Dristan long-lasting nasal spray?
I'll try anything.
Can you breathe now?
Yeah, I think so.
Prove it. Prove it to yourself. Tristan goes to work in seconds, lasts all day.
For the lowest price on a new Ford, try us at Joe Grimm Ford. We make it easy to own the new Ford you want. Joe Grimm's price for a new '85 Escort is under $5,000. Joe Grimm Ford has a big selection of new Ford pickups for only $54.95. For the new Ford you want at the price you want to pay, Joe Grimm Ford's got it at 2 great locations, 9300 Liberty Road, Randallstown, and Joe Grimm Ford at routes 26 and 32 in Eldersburg.
11's on your side.
America's game. It's fantastic. Today's 35th annual NBA All-Star Game is sponsored by light beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. McDonald's. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. And by MasterCard. MasterCard International. So worldly, so welcome.
Beating the previous largest crowd by 11,000. We have 43,146 at the Indiana Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, an all-star record by a wide margin. The previous record was set in Pontiac, Michigan in '79, and we have a 97-92 game coming into the final period. At the buzzer, Ralph Sampson had fouled Terry Cummings, and Cummings made the second of 2 free throws, and so the score is 97-92. You're looking at the leading scorers, Gervin of the West and Larry Bird, who's back in the ball game as we start the 4th period.
Well, I think the experimenting is over, Dick. The possibility of having 5 7-footers on the court at one time, I no longer think is going to happen.
Ralph Sampson missing inside. It's still West ball. Let's check who's in there, and Adrian Dantley will come in as we look at K.C. Jones. There's Dantley replacing Calvin Nat. So the West will have Dantley, Olajuwon, and Sampson, two of the Houston players, along with George Gervin and Magic Johnson, the two starters in the backcourt. The East has Bird. Isaiah Thomas is back in there. Bird and King, the forwards. Thomas and Michael Ray Richardson in the backcourt, and Moses Malone is now the center. Gervin loses it. 2-on-1. Isaiah Thomas, Michael Ray, and he draws the foul.
Well, just a little bit too late. The pass to Richardson didn't allow him to really get a strong finish on the end of it. But I think that leg is bothering Isaiah a little bit, because he would have blown right by Magic. Look at that tape.
Talked about the important game that the Pistons have coming up with Chicago, the third-place team in the Central Division. But Isaiah Thomas, who is limbering that left leg right now, played college ball, of course, at Indiana University at Bloomington nearby. Thomas inside, and Magic Johnson comes out of it. Richardson gets him out of his flow, but Magic gets by him, and here's Sampson. Foul, basket good. With a vengeance, the West comes right back.
What a perfect example of what can happen when you push that ball up fast. Look at Richardson. He's a speed merchant himself. Magic gets by him, but the defense now has to be spread out, allows Sampson to come swinging right into the hoop with nobody on him.
Sampson has 15 points in the ball game and will now try for his 16th. Malone clears 99-93. Less than a minute gone by in this final period. Bird will take the shot over Ralph. And Magic, that's Olajuwon with the rebound. Sampson. Johnson gets it back to Sampson on a pick and roll, and Ralph Sampson is two in a row. Two slams.
What a great show of mobility that time. Little up fake, put on the floor, goes to the opposite side.
Step by Larry Bird, missing, but a push inside called against the West, maybe against Adrian Dantley. And here's Michael Jordan coming back in the ball game. He has scored 5, and Michael Ray Richardson goes out. So Michael Jordan is back in the ball game. Rookie from the Chicago Bulls. So the starting tandem in the backcourt. Jordan and Thomas in there now. Jordan. Rebound by Akeem Olajuwon. The rookie took the shot. The rookie got the rebound. Magic. Just under the rim, and they're going to tie it up. Maybe King and Sampson. Casey Jones. You know what? The Boston Celtics have not used many men off of the bench, and there have been perhaps some rumblings that Ray Williams could possibly figure in the Boston Celtics future somewhere down the line.
Well, he's been roaming around for a while, and nobody's picked him up, so might very well happen, Dick.
Gervin with the basket with 21 points. Magic now in double figures with 10 assists. So Ray Williams, that would be quite an addition for any club, in Boston particularly, wouldn't it?
Sure would be. You wouldn't picture Ray Williams being a Celtic, but fundamentally, you know, he's not the greatest, but boy, what an athlete. I'm sure Casey Jones would get him into the flow of things.
Bernard King scored at the other end. Well, the Celtics have had a history of turning people around. You know, Charlie Scott, Pete Maravich.
Yep.
Dennis Johnson, maybe, to some people.
Much better player, I think, Dennis Johnson than before.
Gervin, he shot that from his hip, and George Gervin has 23 points. And as we get into the ball game with a 10-point lead, the West leading, we also have to start getting our mindset into possible MVPs. And George Gervin with 23, 11 for 13 is a candidate.
I think George Gervin is here to prove today that he is not done.
And Thomas, Isaiah Thomas with a spectacular basket and a foul to boot.
Here comes Gervin's shot. Off the hip. What else do you expect from the six-shooting territory of San Antonio?
9:31 remaining.
Here are the Indiana Pacers.
Giving that extra effort makes winners. The All-You-Can-Be, sponsored by the U.S. Army. Michael Jordan joined the Chicago Bulls as one of the most eagerly anticipated rookies in NBA history. With his thrilling acrobatics, the '84 Olympic gold medalist has excited fans from coast to coast. His play as a pro has been nothing short of spectacular, and his winning attitude has helped Chicago become one of the most improved teams in the league. As he soars to new heights with every slam dunk, Michael Jordan keeps striving to be the best he can be.
Hey, could I tap some of your computer expertise, son?
So you finally gave in?
Yeah, for starters, how does the disk fit into the disk drive?
Okay.
The Army can train you to program, operate, or fix computers.
What does the printer interface do?
It lets the computer talk to the printer.
They talk to each other. What do they say?
Then there's a telephone modem hookup.
And the computer training you get is yours forever.
Like you're not going to be the only computer expert in the family.
Well, this great rivalry resumes next Sunday on CBS Sports. The Boston Celtics, the world champions, against the LA Lakers, the Western Conference champions. 3:45 Eastern. A tremendous rivalry in the two finalists of last year. With the Lakers having squandered last year's championship series and then squandered a lead against the Celtics in their previous meeting at Boston Garden, that game has great meaning to them, Tom.
Well, you know, it's not going to mean who's going to win the championship for sure, but they sure want to show, these Lakers, led by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, that they are a championship team, and they're going to prove it in Los Angeles next Sunday.
They hope to anyway, and of course they beat Philadelphia at home, which meant a good deal to them. They say we beat one of those strong Eastern clubs.
Great psychological effect to win against an Eastern team on your home team. I think it's a necessary thing for the Lakers.
So here's Isaiah Thomas concluding the three-point play. 105-98, 7-point lead, 9:29 to go. We're going to watch the matchups because that's going to be a factor down the stretch. Olajuwon is in the ball game with Larry Nance. And Dantley on a foul. Go to the line.
That was a heck of a move by Olajuwon. Likes to put it on the floor. Good fake. Only Jordan stepping down stopped him from getting a nice shot off.
Jordan commits the foul. Olajuwon will shoot. Right now the East has the lineup that began the game. Irving, Bird, Malone, Jordan, and Thomas, but not so for the West.
Well, let's take a look at Olajuwon, Dick, as a little fake, drop step, and fake back into the middle. Boy, that's a pretty good move for a kid that's only been playing basketball for 7 years. The East team, though, without Jabbar, don't have that that inside power game to go to that coaches like to use last few minutes of a game.
Thomas, long-range shot. So Isaiah Thomas with 22 points. A 6-point lead. Plenty of time remaining. Johnson had a screen from Dantley. Pass back to A.D. and draws the foul. Adrian Dantley, now 5th in the league in scoring. He missed 12 games as a holdout. The comeback player of last season for the Utah Jazz.
You know, he's a very small 6'5". You know, and just as Sampson can play a lot smaller, this guy at 6'5" can play a lot bigger. And the Utah Jazz get away with using a smaller man because he's got that wide body and knows how to use it. In close to the basket, on the boards, and he's a dynamite player finding open sky to get a shot off in traffic.
I mean, that little tank moving around on stubby
legs gets the job done. Yes, it does.
As Cedric Maxwell.
Just don't get caught under his tracks, baby.
108-100. Michael Jordan is short. Jordan hasn't had the outside shot in this game. Magic 3-on-2 is foul going in. Many times it's smart for Magic to do just that. Go to the hoop.
Take it to the hoop, and what he did was deke Isaiah out of the way, and Isaiah kept trying to force him to his left. One time earlier in the ball game, Isaiah made a steal that way, and Magic said, "You're not going to do it again this time. I'm going left." And got by him.
Here's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar coming into the ball game, and going out as Akeem Olajuwon. Abdul-Jabbar has 4 fouls.
This is serious time now when Kareem is in there. As I said before, that's the inside offense. And that is power when you can almost say we're going to get a good shot down low when we need it.
Well, the West has a 10-point lead with 8.5 minutes remaining. Jordan guarded by Gervin. Malone up outside. 5 on the shot clock. Julius, no alley-oop, but the tip in by Moses Malone.
And Moses watered off Kareem to get that tip. Almost gave him a straight on.
8-point lead for the West. Magic off the glass, lead pass to the Doctor. And Larry Nance makes a terrific play, and the Doctor looked at him to the right, saying, who was that masked man?
Well, they're letting him play. There's no question about that.
I assume from that comment you think there was a foul.
Could have been. Looked like it to me. Normally the Doctor gets that call.
All right, Magic Johnson, Kareem Sky. And it's a 10-point lead again for the West.
That's what I was talking about. When you need 2, as a guy that's going to get a shot off for you.
Larry Bird driving in, basket counts and a foul, and Bird has 20 in the ball game, and the East relentless hanging in there. But let's look at Nance's play.
I want to see if this really is a great block, and Nance timed it perfectly. It kind of looked like he was on the ball and the hand. I give the referee the benefit of the doubt. On the ball and on the hand at the same time is okay.
Larry Nance has 5 fouls now, Tom.
Dr. J didn't like the call, I'll tell you, or the no call, rather. Went up the other end smiling.
Michael Jordan goes out of the ball game, and so right now Isaiah Thomas is the only true guard in the lineup for the East. There are 3 forwards in Irving, Bird, and Bernard King, along with Malone. So first wrinkle, now we've seen that wrinkle. Dantley going in is foul, and Adrian Dantley will shoot, and Larry Bird went down hard, and Lucky hit his head.
We're going to see the battle of the big guys going on. Now listen, get off my back, please. Stay away from me. Move out a couple of inches, Moses says. But here comes Bird down and took right in the chops.
He got an elbow.
The tank got him. Hit him with a howitzer.
One man you don't want to lose, and so that kind of drew blood.
I tell you, he brings intensity to any game he plays in. You know what he was doing before this ball game? He was playing one-on-one, warming up with Dr. J's little son. And he comes into this ball game today, and after fooling around before the game, he's playing as hard as he possibly can.
Play one, release.
He really got a shot in the nose, and ironically, Dantley is shooting the free throws there. Yeah,
he got his nose in the way of Dantley's elbow.
Yeah, this is an exhibition, correct? Just look at Larry Bird and answer that one.
Well, he's up the other end, getting a towel and trying to wipe off the blood, but look at it. Oh, boy.
Well, okay. Well, if the picture's there, we'll get it for you, folks.
I don't compete anymore, but I still pump iron. So after lifting a few hundred pounds, it's nice to lift one of these. Light beer from Miller. Light tastes great, and it's less filling, with 1/3 less calories than the regular beer. Now, you know, bodybuilding is hard work, but having a great body has its advantages. Sure makes it easy to pick up guys. Hi, Rodney.
Oh, hi there. What's going on here? Hey, honey, how about a lift home, huh?
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
In my relentless pursuit of lower fuel bills, I have discovered a new reason to add Pink Owens Corning insulation now. Get this Polaroid instant camera free when you buy 10 rolls of Owens Corning insulation, like the attic blanket, the most powerful roll of insulation there is. Snap up instant energy savings and get a Polaroid camera free.
It's a great offer, only from Owens Corning.
Bob, we're in the lobby. Hey, listen, we'll meet you out front in 5 minutes.
8 o'clock? I asked for a 7 o'clock wake-up call. What's wrong with this place?
Good morning, Nick St. Nick on the Big 96. 5 minutes past the hour, and if you had to be at work at 8 o'clock, you're late.
Ow, a simple thing like a wake-up call. Thanks, I'm already up. Next time, Ramada, where they know how to take care of business.
See Carl Lewis and Mary Decker in world-class competition, plus a World Figure Skating Championships preview, John Madden's journeys, and more next on CBS Sports Sunday.
Coming up next on CBS Sports Sunday, Mary Decker-Slaney attempts to become the first woman to break 4 minutes and 1,500 meters. She has won both of her races since coming back. And, of course, you'll also see Carl Lewis and his off-the-track activities, problems he's having in lining up endorsements. Coming up, Invitational Track and Field Championships, as well, Katarina Witt. And she's going to be battling Tiffany Chin for the ladies' title in the World Figure Skating Championships coming up next month in Tokyo. You'll see Katarina Witt's performance and Tiffany Chin's reaction. Scott Hamilton also there, plus John Madden's journeys. Coming up next on CBS Sports Sunday following the game. Well, we have documented very well, I think, Larry Bird's problems with the nose injury.
Well, I'm sure nose or no nose, he wants to get back.
He's out of the game right now, so Robert Parrish has come in, and Thomas hits the shot. Robert Parrish and Moses Malone, two centers, are in the game right now for the East, and this is the time for them to do it, trailing by 7.
Twin towers on both ball clubs.
Kareem and Sampson are in there. Here's Kareem. Sampson at the other end. Ralph Sampson has 19 points for the West All-Stars. 8 rebounds also for Ralph.
Well, those two big guys of the West are really doing their job.
9-point lead. Turnover.
I'll tell you, Dantley did a heck of a job on Bernard King. Once he gets by, it's usually pretty difficult to stop Bernard, but Dantley poke-checked the ball away.
King's 5th foul, and Sidney Moncrief replaces Isaiah Thomas, who really has been hobbled with that bruised right left thigh in the second half. They're still tending to Larry Bird, and I think the East is going to need Larry Bird in there down the stretch if they're going to win.
They've got the ice on the neck, and that's not a good sign. They're trying to stop that flow of blood. But without Isaiah and Bird, who last year kind of took control of the passing game, found the matchup they wanted to use in the late stages, and it happened to be Lambier, the East ended up winning. So that combination not going to be available for the East.
What's the big matchup advantage that the NBA's Eastern stars can take advantage of?
Offensively, they're trying to go to Bernard King.
They've got Dantley on King. There's Moncrief with Blackman in the ball game. And no foul. Rolando Blackman on the foul. A lot of confidence Pat Riley has around Rolando Blackman in the ballgame at this time.
Well, as I mentioned before, a lot of people think that Rolando Blackman is the heir apparent to the big guard role in the Western Division. I'll tell you, he's come into his own, his first All-Star appearance, but he is an excellent inside-outside player. Great defense. Hits the boards and handles the ball well.
Takes the first free throw. Cummings is coming in, replacing Julius Erving. More power now.
More power on the boards. That's what they want. They want to make sure that Sampson and Kareem don't control that offensive board.
Well, now the East really has a power team in there with Parrish, Malone, and Cummings up front.
Bernard will probably be the big guard.
Rolando Blackman. And Moses Malone gets the outlet pass to Terry Cummings. Filling the lane is Bernard King. Cummings will pull up, and it's 118 to 111. 7-point lead with under 6 minutes to go. The biggest lead of the game, the West. 11-point lead.
I'll tell you, they got Cummings guarding Rolando Blackman.
Sampson, he's had a fine ball game, and he continues to. 21 points for Ralph Sampson. Here's King on the run. Bernard King, he was really calm on that drive down the lane. And King has 13. And here comes the East again, down by 7. Harris. And a basket counts and a foul. Terry Cummings. And the East has cut the West lead to 5.
The wide bodies are doing it now, Dick. They're starting to fast break and control the boards. But an unusual matchup. Terry Cummings is guarding Rolando Blackman up the other end. That's going to put him on the boards against the guard, which will be a lot of help.
Kareem now with 5 personal fouls. He has 5 and stays in the game. The West lead has been sliced to 4. 5:15 remaining in the 4th period. 35th All-Star game, and as usual, it's coming down to money time. Johnson on a feed from Kareem, and they've done it thousands of times on the Lakers.
Well, Moncrief that time made kind of a sloppy little double team. Let Magic slip in there.
Moncrief looking for Malone. Loose ball, the West. 3-on-3. Magic. Goaltending called Johnson gets the basket. He has 20.
Here's Moncrief coming over to help out, and he leaves Magic all alone. In an all-star game, the team defense isn't too well developed, and he slipped in for an easy one.
8-point lead. West into Malone. Double. No foul, but there's Robert Parrish with the follow-up. It's West by 6. 4.5 remaining.
The Magic, though, can create some stuff, Dick, just by pushing it up fast against this slower team as Bird is about to report in.
Larry Bird's going to come back in. Moses Malone committed the foul, and so they worked on Larry Bird's nose, and Robert Parrish will come out, so Malone is the lone center. Bernard King is still really the big guard, and Cummings
is going to be guarding Rolando Blackman. So they may try to post up Cummings if Blackman reciprocates and plays him.
Moncrief's the only true guard out there for the East.
But Magic at this point of the ball game will try and push up the ball and sneak in a couple easy ones to break the game open.
Sampson keeps it alive on the missed free throw. Here's the alley-oop to Ralph from Magic Johnson, who did a little dance at center court. And the West with a big basket, 127-118, and a 9-point lead. Cummings coming right back. Ralph Sampson battling inside. And a foul finally. You know, I watch Ralph Sampson. We talk about how the West has won 5 in a row, or the East has won 5 straight. Ralph has only lost 1 in a row.
Well, look at this move by Sampson. What a joy for a guy like Magic Johnson to lay the ball up there. Practically could have laid it up at the top of the backboard and would know that it's not going to be missed.
But Ralph Sampson has picked up his 5th foul. Sampson and Kareem have 5. We'll come back and see whether that will be a factor.
What is taking Dunbar so long?
He's a place kicker, Russo.
Curfew!
Dunbar! Don't drop my Big Mac.
Big Mac, you're okay, babe.
Dunbar! Dunbar! Dunbar, where are the fries? How can we eat a Big Mac without fries?
It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Dinerex versus Selsun Blue.
This side here, I've got a tingling sensation. On this side, there's not much any sensation.
Look what you use.
Dinerex.
Each shampoo has one medicine for dandruff. Only Dinerex adds extra anti-itch medicine.
Selsun Blue's lost a customer. I'm a Dinerex man.
Bill Evans can't breathe. Would you try Dristan long-lasting nasal spray?
I'll try anything.
Can you breathe now?
Yeah, I think so.
Prove it. Prove it to yourself. Dristan goes to work in seconds, lasts all day.
MasterCard, I'm bored. Oh, my interest is piqued. MasterCard, I'd follow you anywhere.
We're back here, and next Sunday you'll have flag-to-flag live coverage of the Daytona 500, truly one of auto racing's premier events, in-car cameras. Cale Yarborough, who's dominated the event in recent years, he'll try to become the first ever to win 3 consecutive Daytonas. One of the premier events on CBS Sports, and you'll see it next Sunday beginning at noon Eastern here on CBS Sports. Here's our situation, 4:01 remaining, 127-118, and the East, as you look at the leading scorers in the game, has quite a hurdle the rest of the way, Thomas, and what's the best way they can get back?
Well, the East has really got to bang those boards and develop the inside game with Moses Malone, and that's why he's on that line right now, but he's had trouble scoring inside against these big people that the West have been able to put out there.
Ralph Sampson has had a terrific ball game. Moses Malone, Sampson the rebound, and a loose ball foul, and we get close to 3:55 remaining. You know, Ralph Sampson impresses us very much. I know last year you thought that he deserved a lot of MVP recognition. In fact, you predicted he might win it, and you know what? This may be the year he may win.
Just a year late, that's all. You know, as he steps to the line, reminds me, you know, with all these great mobile skills that he has, you know, in every 7-foot body, there's the soul of a 6-footer, and that's what Ralph Sampson is. He wants to play the violin or something, you know. Forget all those stuffs and what have you. He wants to show the real finesse skills.
He was the Rookie of the Year last year as a center. Now he's a forward. Under 4 minutes to play. 128-119. Terry Cummings working against Sampson and shoots over him. Sampson's 7'4" frame is pretty huge indeed. Going for three, a Bird. And it's going to be West ball off the side, and the West trying to get a victory for Pat Riley, his first as an All-Star, and try to break a 5-game losing streak.
Well, they have a real advantage, the West, with Sampson being guarded by any number of smaller players.
And a big basket by Rolando Blackman, and it's an 11-point game, matches the biggest. It was tied at 68 at the half. The West has had the lead the entire second half. Cummings coming right back. Sampson is 24, Gervin 23, Magic has 20, the high scorers for the West. Kareem with a skyhook. King gets it out quickly, but it's picked off by Blackman, wide open. And it's going to be tough for the East to come back in this game with 3 minutes to go.
Well, the East that time tried to force the fast break. Poor outlet pass by Bernard. Allows Blackman to score that easy jumper.
And Larry Bird stepped on the line. And Pat Riley, who knows what it's like to coach a champion with the Lakers, with the 246 of knowing what it's like to coach an all-star team winning. Dantley? No, they call the offensive foul against Adrian Dantley.
Well, Magic is working the inside people well for the West. Outstanding job of getting the ball to the right people in the right position.
11-point lead. Sidney Moncrief. Kareem gets it. Outlet. 3-on-2. Here's Blackman open court over Bird. King gets it back to Cummings. 3-on-2 East. They kick it away. And with 2:13 to go, there's a baseball pass from Magic to Rolando Blackman. And the biggest lead of the ball game right now, 13 points for the West, and a timeout is called. And you can look at the West bench to know that this game has meaning for them.
Only Monster's got a sporty truck with just 59. 95.
I just got a sporty truck priced like some base trucks. The Mazda B2000 SE5. Look, it comes standard with a 5-speed, radials and spoker wheels, sporty stripes, step bumper, and dual sport mirrors. Pretty sporty for just $59.95.
Sakes alive.
Mazda SE5.
Introducing the amazing Minolta Maxim, the world's easiest SLR, because it alone has built-in automatic focusing. Look, Maxim's autofocus lets you get perfect shots before others can even focus. Change lenses. Maxim again gets the shots that used to get away.
Only the human eye focuses faster.
Minolta Maxim.
Only from the mind of Minolta.
The Light Beer All-Stars have all had their ambitions.
Like going to the Super Bowl.
Or the World Series.
But Jay and Joey have an even greater ambition. They'd like to do the things other kids can do, but they have cerebral palsy.
So we're helping them and others like them. You can too.
Every time you buy light beer from Miller in February, Light will make a donation to United Cerebral Palsy.
To give them a chance, the rest of us must take the first step.
Look for this display wherever light beer is sold and help us fight cerebral palsy.
At the conclusion of the game, a vote of the attending press will select the Light Beer Most Valuable Player of the game. And in conjunction with this award, Light Beer from Miller will present a check for $1,000 to the National Multiple Sclerosis Foundation in that player's name. Commissioner David Stern took over just about a year ago after Larry O'Brien handed the reins over. And it's been a bullish year for Commissioner Stern, and he will present the trophy to this year's most valuable player. Winding down to 2 minutes remaining. Michael Jordan in the game goes baseline around everybody. 11-point lead, 134-123.
Got the press team in there for the East, all the small people.
Kareem and Magic, two of the Lakers. Pat Riley finishing the game. Dantley with a layup. And every time that the West comes back and gets a point, it's another nail in the East coffin. Magic has 15 assists. Richardson for 3. Saved by Moncrief. Blocked by Sampson. And they'll have a loose ball foul against Magic Johnson.
Second foul.
Sampson has 24, Gervin 23, and Magic has 20 points and 15 assists.
Some adjustments here by the West, Dick. They're putting Sampson in and Nixon and Olajuwon. Well, Sampson's leaving too, I guess. But the best ball handling crew that the West can have in there right now.
Norm Nixon.
Pat Riley's answering with.
Nixon and Magic. So we're seeing Nixon and Magic reunited in the final minutes of this game. Rolando Blackman, Adrian Dantley, and Hakeem Olajuwon to center as Kareem goes out.
Yeah, Magic has really dished out the sugar today, boy.
He had 22 last year to break his own record in the All-Star game.
Got everybody involved on the West squad.
Blackman goes up and will go to the line. Here's Kareem and Sampson, who started the game. 2 7-footers. We didn't get a chance to see 3 7-footers, but
what would have happened if we did? You know, I was waiting to see that. I thought it'd be probably the most unusual thing in basketball history to see all those guys line up, and fingertip to fingertip, they probably could extend and touch each sideline.
15 for Rolando Blackman. Very quietly, first-year All-Star from the Dallas Mavericks, who was born in Panama, played soccer as a youngster, has made a great contribution to the West. 12-point lead, Michael Ray. It was a 2-point attempt. Lane Beer in the ball game as Moses is out. And there's Dennis Johnson hitting. 10-point lead, 137-127, winding down to a minute to go. Under a minute. They're going to use up as much as the clock.
Magic a little tired, so they give the ball handling chores to Nixon. Back out, eat up the clock, move them around a little bit, Magic. Nice part of the game.
And a loose ball, Nixon gets it. They have 11 on the shot clock. This is going to be a West victory, and it's going to be a satisfying one as well. The East has won 5 in a row, and that was the longest streak.
Magic Johnson at the line.
Magic Johnson will go to the line, and you're looking at the East bench. Larry Bird got a bloody nose for his efforts today, but scored 21 points. Gervin with 23 has had a fine game today. Isaiah Thomas hit that big 3-point shot with 1 second to go at the half to bring the East into a tie, but that was it as far as the East was concerned.
Well, they just lost the battle of the boards, Dick. They were doing so well in the first half with everybody jamming the boards, but they lost the battle of the boards in the inside game in the second half.
And that's usually where games are decided.
Yep.
All-star or otherwise. 43,146. So the best. And we still have the MVP award coming up as Adrian Dantley is fouled with 5 seconds to go. So Kareem is, you know, and someone said to Pat Riley the other day, you're 0-2 in All-Star games. He says, yeah, but Kareem is 0-6, but that is no longer. And the record 14th NBA All-Star game for Kareem turns out to be his first win. Well, we've mentioned Sampson. What do you think about MVP? We voted for him.
Sampson, Magic Johnson. He certainly dished out the passes and made that offense happen and kept pace with Isaiah's fast breaking game. That's the hope that the East had, was to create more fast break opportunities against these big guys than perhaps they normally would expect.
Blackman had a good game.
Yeah, Blackman had a good game. The Iceman had a good game. George Gervin. A lot of possibilities.
And that's it. That's the end of the 35th All-Star game. Who will win the Most Valuable Player award? That remains to be seen. The West beats the East 140-129. We're going to be back here at the Hoosier Dome And we'll first send you to New York for an update coming up.
We invite you to remain with us.
Here's to good. Why don't you and Carol come on over? Oh, it's too cold out. We got a great fire going, 4 steaks, and loaded brow. We're on our way.
The beer we'll pour must say something more somehow.
So what took you so long?
All right. Tonight, let it be rolling brown.
In 1982, Toyota introduced the standard bed truck for $59.98, and it was a winner. Now, 3 years later, Toyota introduces a new standard bed truck with a more efficient engine, with more horsepower, and a warranty that's twice as long as 1982 for $59.98. Who says you have to pay a high price for progress?
That's a big step, Tom.
I'm still gonna go to college, Dad, but after the Army.
I thought you wanted to be an electrical engineer.
I'll be learning about electronics, and I can qualify for the Army College Fund.
If you qualify, the Army College Fund can help you accumulate over $25,000 for tuition.
So you're going to be a soldier.
Be all that you can be.
And an engineer.
Find your future.
Be a good one.
In the Army.
We'll be returning to Indianapolis for the MVP trophy presentation in just a few moments. But first, a reminder that coming up next is CBS Sports Sunday. We'll have coverage of the U.S. Olympic Invitational Track and Field Meet, headlined by such stars as Carl Lewis, the former Mary Decker, now Mary Slaney, and Eamon Coughlin. And also today, we'll take a special look at next month's World Figure Skating Championships. We'll see some of the recent performances by defending world champion Katarina Witt of East Germany. And we'll also see some remarkable ice dancing by the Soviet team of Natalia Vestamenova and Andrei Bukin. My colleague John Madden turns up at Pebble Beach with golf's Craig Stadler. You'll see the man they call the Walrus on today's episode of John Madden's Journeys. All that is still ahead here on CBS Sports Sunday. Right now, let's go back to Dick Stockton at the Hoosier Dome for the presentation of the All-Star Game MVP trophy. Dick?
The West breaks the East 5-game winning streak with a victory in the All-Star Game. And right now, let's go to the center of the court and Pat O'Brien. Pat?
All right, thank you, Dick. Our MVP for the 35th Annual All-Star Game is Ralph Sampson, who had a terrific performance today. And to present him with the trophy is David Stern, the commissioner of the NBA.
Ralph, on this day, you were the best basketball player in the world. 24 points, 10 rebounds in a galaxy of stars. We think you may have a future as a power forward. Congratulations.
Picks up his trophy and a presentation, too, from Miller Brewing Company and Bob Toledo. Bob?
Congratulations on behalf of Light Beer from Miller. And we are very happy to announce that on behalf of Ralph Sampson, we'll be donating $2,000 to the National Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. In addition to that, in his name, $2,000 to Interaction Ethiopia.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, and congratulations, Ralph Sampson. Let's go back to Dick.
Thank you very much, Pat O'Brien. So for Tom Heinsohn and Pat O'Brien, Dick Stockton saying so long from the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis. The final score, the West 140, the East 129. Don't forget to join us next Sunday for more NBA action when the Boston Celtics battle the LA Lakers. We have college basketball next Saturday. And of course, the Celtic-Laker battle Sunday in Inglewood, California. Coming up next, Sports Sunday with Pat Summerall in New York and the Daytona 500 next Sunday at noon. Sports Sunday. presentation of CBS Sports.
Fly the friendly skies of United, serving more of the nation's top 100 business centers than anyone.
You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies.